needle. Oh, God.
Now that's a good way to start.
Hello.
Hello. I'm so used to pointing at people over here, apparently. Oh, jeez.
Hi, John.
Hi, everyone. I feel like there's an awful lot of, disdain, disappointment. Yes, camaraderie, right? The opposite. Friendship, being magic.
Everybody criticizes me about names, and then all of a sudden it's like...
What do I do?
Ooh, a bus heading nowhere.
Absolutely.
Just for funsies.
Huge, fantastic thank you to everybody. I'm seeing literally everybody resubscribing right now.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
you
Is
so
it time
much.
for me to get in on a hype
Oh,
train?
shit. Are we all going to try to... Here we go, quick.
Hello there.
We're not above this sort of thing. Well, hello. Hi.
Technical note.
Yes.
We three are on the older microphones. We were setting up today, and for some reason stuff just wasn't cooperating, and either our microphones fried over the past month or something else needs to be fixed. To be discovered, but these work. Let us know if things need to be louder or quieter, but the quality is going to be a little less than it usually is.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. As always, let us know if there's anything we can do audio-wise. I mean, visually, this is what our faces look like, so, you know, it's not much to... But that's...
Visually, this is what our faces look like. It's
So-
not much.
not much to look. I didn't mean...
approximation.
Yeah, exactly. What I mean, the holograms have only come so far. Is the point. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this very special presentation, session 01. He said optimistically. No, session 1 of RPG Clinic's Blades in the Dark mini campaign. As we've discussed on many occasions, this is something that we are trying out, that's new, which is the concept of a smaller kind of mini campaign with a different person in this chair. So weird, but the same crew of people you know and love.
It is the better chair. It is the best chair in the room.
It is a very nice chair. I do agree with that. Whoa. Okay. It's probably the distance actually across here. I'll just do that and we'll see how it goes.
Cradle that mic.
Ooh. Oh. I wish I had that kind of voice, to be honest, but I don't, unfortunately. With your word hole, I don't think so. Hi everyone on that side of the room. It is odd to be. I mean, John, I'm sure you're feeling the same way. That's odd to be kind of looking in a different direction.
See, the funny thing is that from where I'm sitting right now, just beyond the camera, is my desk where I work.
All my shit.
Computer, all my shit. In fact, I never sit on this side of my office because I don't. And now here I am.
Oh God, Kung Fu Fenris, get off that bus. I don't know where you're going, but get out of there. I've seen this movie. You don't want to be there.
I'm just worried that now I'm just gonna get like the pencil in the thigh from Liz every time I do something that displeases her.
Try fountain pen in the thigh.
Oh God, horrible.
Harsh. Yet, setting appropriate.
Yeah, very appropriate actually. Yeah. Oh man.
For the first time in
Which wall color is it that you like, Aragorn? Because if it's one of the colors that you see behind us, then I disagree, and one of them I chose.
Oh. Huh?
Which one
but the
is
other one you did
Aragorn
not.
gonna pick?
Well, this. I mean, I like this. I wouldn't. What other wall color are you referring to?
The ones behind us.
There's the
Oh,
wood
that stuff.
and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
white
yeah, that's
and
fair.
the dark teal. I don't know what I'm sure it had a specific color.
Oh, no diggity doubt. Oh, I mean, there's
Yeah.
it's the same behind this bookshelf. Aragorn, don't worry about it. It's all good. Excellent.
Which one? Because I'm literally between both
Behind
colors.
Jeff color, I think
Between
it's the
two
color.
ferns.
Yeah.
I think it's the
I think
color.
it's probably the endless void between like where the closet door opens.
Yeah.
What's up?
Is the clock ticking?
Because if
on
it's
us?
this color,
I don't think so. Is it?
if it's this color,
Not
I
yet,
picked
anyway.
this color.
Oh, yeah, it is. Thank
The
you.
greeny color
I
is
totally
nice.
missed it. I'm gonna erase 6 here. Let's hide that. There we go. Ooh. Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be here, to be starting something new with y'alls.
God damn it.
Yeah. John, you're like infinitely gifable. I think where we all are, and I
He's a
think we
gifable
should.
dude.
Yeah, we should know this. It's important to know it.
Is that a shirt that I'm gonna have? Gifable.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
The,
there-
Then
the,
five
the thing
people
that we're
can-
asking Aragorn is if you like the closet doors, which we did not pick. They came with the office, and I hate it.
the brown ones.
I hate
Although
it,
if you are
and
like
I will try to
teal
get rid
brown
of it.
colorblind, that would be wild. No. Very good.
I'm trying to get John to do like the Pinterest thing with the peel and stick wallpaper
Yeah.
on those doors.
Honestly, I'm like this close.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool.
What I'm probably
Everyone
going to do
knows
is
what I'm
just
talking
rip it
about.
out of the wall and start again. Are they mahogany? No, they are.
Really thin press board with
Shit, Captain King.
yeah, it's
This is a
cheap,
Twitch
cheap
channel.
press board.
Not mahogany.
Yeah, it's
maybe we
metal.
do, I don't know.
It's not
Well,
even
the frames are metal.
Right,
the,
right.
the boards are wood.
wood. Oh, well.
Do it. Well, it sounds like we've got like a home project, home changing project, home improvement project. There we go. To attend to, but that'll be after the stream, I think, or maybe another day entirely. Probably not today after the stream.
The other thing I'm not used to, by the way, is that I always have to look up here for the camera, and that's not where the camera is anymore. Camera's here.
It's right over there.
I see it now.
That would be good, Flower. We could have like a whole like puppy pen back there.
And
People
then I
running
just
around.
wouldn't have any hair. Yeah.
That's it, Erigwyn. I mean, I trust that it will happen many times tonight.
Ellie Spot, all I want is to be happy at the expense of everything else.
Got everything else? Well, normally we would ask, at this point, like, oh, did anybody spend any experience? But it's a...
Shit, sorry.
Okay, did anybody spend any experience? This is not what I expected to see here. 3, 2, 1... Oh, what the heck happened? Nobody
We
spent
didn't.
experience?
We didn't have any to spend.
I am a good and generous God, and you will worship me. Yeah, I mean, kind of, Flower. So, big disclaimer right off the bat. As we've discussed on numerous occasions, this is Blades in the Dark RPG Clinic style. And what I mean by that is every time we play anything on this channel, it's going to be blank the system, fuck the system, blank the system, RPG Clinic style. We're doing what we think is going to be best, okay? So if you are very familiar with Blades in the Dark, awesome. I may make some choices that you wouldn't make. If you're not familiar with Blades in the Dark, that's awesome. I might not explain what the hell's going on. We're here to tell stories, and I think that's what we are going to do tonight. We're going to have a blast. So no spending of experience, but that's because the experience system works a bit differently. But normally we'd have a really good segue around this time, and if I want a really good segue, I want to make sure I can ride on one safely. And fuck's sake. Okay.
I like it.
For fuck's sake, thank you. We have hang on, it's coming in. There we go. We have safety cards for our safety here on RPG Clinic because safety is the most important thing for having fun. What are these safety cards? Well, I'm about to tell you. You don't have safety cards, but you do have options as the audience. I'm gonna get to those in a second. This green card, the play card, means despite any outward appearances, I am good. I'm having a great time. The yellow card is the pause card. It means, hey, just give me a quick sec. I need to make the table aware of something. And the red card is the stop card. This is an immediate stop to game. I'm not feeling safe or for any reason. Because we're streaming, we'll probably go to a BRB screen. But once everybody is safe and satisfied and we've discussed, we will return to the game. Now, as I mentioned before, of course, y'alls do not have the safety cards, but you do have options, there you go, to make sure that you are also safe and having a good time. If you need to, you can message us. That's RPG Clinic. The whispers show up in a little tab up there, which I will be able to look at. We'll all see them. You can also message a mod. Tonight, we have Kung Fu Fenris on a bus, Crosshair here for part of the stream, and Erigwyn. It's actually a lot of wonderful tools, mods, sorry, here tonight. You can message them. And of course, most importantly, you always can exercise the option of freedom of movement. What I mean by that, you can leave the stream or the chat if you have to. If you're not feeling safe, that's the number one priority. We don't want to see you go, but it's okay if you have to. And there you go. Ta-da!
Avatar of Cain, the cards are slightly different.
They are different than they were a few months ago. I know we switched them out.
But we also all have different
Yeah.
versions of the
We
cards.
also
yes, as
different
each
between
other.
one another. Yes, like particularly John's are a smaller shape. We were doing some size tests. New version coming in the new year. more or less.
Ooh.
At that point, we may actually be ready for our 1.0 release.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yep.
Which of course we will be posting about in the Discord and on Twitter, presumably, because if y'all want to get a copy of these, well, anyway, the details will be forthcoming, which is exciting.
And on TikTok.
And on TikTok, yeah, RPGClinic TikTok coming fucking never. Sorry, not never. I shouldn't say that. I just don't understand it.
I was gonna know.
Oh, jeez. John was gonna.
You're gonna start.
Do you want to start our
God, no.
RPGClinic TikTok? We're all too old.
I'm waiting for the next thing so that I can get in on the ground floor.
Nice.
TheNextThing.com. Doop.
One done. Easy. So we've been practicing. We've been looking at Blades in the Dark to learn the system, to figure out who we are, what our relationships are, and to build the world out a little bit. That means that we have played off stream. Y'alls haven't seen it. And we may be making references to things that have happened in the past. Now, I think it would be important for us to take a brief moment to let the audience know what has most recently happened so that when we dive in, they won't be completely in the dark. Does, yeah, Kate,
As opposed to the blades.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which you can be in the blades if you want to be.
Scott, you may want to shift a little bit to your
To your
left.
left, eh?
Yeah, you can.
I love
Adjust
leaning in these chairs, though. It's
yeah.
so nice.
Yeah. We should probably start with us, as much as our names are below us. My character is Maureen Danfield, alias Thistle, and I am playing a spider, subtitle A Devious Mastermind.
Awesome.
So that's my character type, is spider.
We'll pass along to John.
I am playing Zane Seville. His alias is Ghast, and he is a misbehaving merchant prince who has decided that he needs to prove that he can make his own way through the world instead of living off mommy's dime.
It's working, Liz.
I am playing a leech named Ollie Anning, alias Waif, and she is an apothecary physiker with a penchant for the occult.
For the macabre.
For the macabre. Yeah.
Very good. So this is the crew of shadows that you see before you here. Sorry, yes, so what has happened to this crew of late?
So in our tweets, we mentioned how we got together, which was a quick Thistle using information that went missing from her law offices, because she was a former legal aid. Wanted to carry out a heist on an architecture firm. Through her contact network, she met a young ex-noble, Zane, and the two of them worked together to carry off the score. Unfortunately, Zane was injured during the heist, and Thistle made the acquaintance of a discreet physiker, Waif. Together, the three of them started a crew. Interestingly enough, Waif was also somehow involved in the untimely, accidental death of the investigator in charge of hunting down Zane and Thistle, something she says she had no part in.
Yes, I'll just quickly interrupt you. Yes, Kung Fu Fenris, Zane, aka Ghast, is a lurk. Cool. Okay, that's sort of our broad past, yeah?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going through
past.
going through the broad strokes.
That's perfection.
Does anyone want to jump in on
What
the other
happened more
stuff? 'Cause
recently?
I keep losing it.
We were offered a new, interesting opportunity.
Okay.
It seems like there is a particular reporter for a local rag who has been making a few, shall we say, indiscreet enemies who no longer wish to see this person publish. It is our job to make sure that this person never publishes again. The Magpie, as they're known, must meet some sort of either end or career change.
Yeah, so we're allowed to be a bit flexible with our methods.
Yes.
As long as we see this come about, as long as they never publish again. We know that they are about to embark on the Silver Sun pleasure barge. They've booked passage on this epic pleasure boat
Passage.
in our amazing canal system. And we also know that during that time they will not be at their offices, which means that it is ripe for the procuration of blackmail material, potentially.
I mean, fingers crossed, because that seems to be plan A, right?
Blackmail material, also possibly any medical conditions that we need to know about.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning, We're not necessarily the best at
Most things.
most things.
We also aren't necessarily the good guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell yourselves short. You guys have lots of skills and abilities, talents, experiences that could be of great value to your crew moving forward. I just wonder whether the streets of Doskvol are going to just chew you up and spit you out before you get there. I hope not. I'm rooting for you.
Hashtag probably.
Is that hashtagable? Okay, so that I think brings us more or less up to date. We're gonna do we'll do a little intro into the world for those of you who are not super familiar with Blades in the Dark. That's cool, so don't worry about that. Are there any other questions before we kind of jump in from this side of the table or from you, the audience? Let me know. Well, I get something ready over here. Something. Ooh.
Did we talk about our crew that were shadows?
We didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I think I probably mentioned it in passing, obliquely, but yes, this is a crew of shadows. I think that's all we're going to say about that.
Shadows.
Means that our preferred methods are, things like burglary, espionage, things that are happening behind the scenes as opposed to a more open, aggressive way of dealing with things.
Exactly. In terms of the lair for Kung Fu Fenris, I believe we will find out today. We will return to it. I want to make sure that we get a chance to see it, as it were. And Crosshair, what year is it or what era? Great question. It's an industrial fantasy setting. So this game is taking place a few hundred years after the Cataclysm. I remember off the top of my head, I think it's 400 something CE.
The storm.
Or AC after the Cataclysm.
Nice.
Cool. Any other questions? Anything else? Here we go. We've already talked about you three existing in this world. What you want, what you hope to obtain, how you're going to go about doing it. What we haven't really talked about is the scale and the scope of Doskvol. It's towering, it's massive, it's dense, and it is always around you. It's ever present. Despite one of your number coming from out of town, Doskvol is in many ways inescapable, or perhaps we could just say it's not advised to try to leave the city of endless night. Imagine, if you will, a city somewhere between London and Venice, circa 1870. There is heavy industry. Coal mines, factories, electric lights, steam engines, the hustle and bustle of people trading and trying to make a living in this town. But imagine also a world of perpetual darkness. The Cataclysm, of course, destroyed the sun, and the moon is looming closer every year, but we don't have to worry about that. This isn't a 3-day situation. After the Cataclysm, the world at large has become haunted. Ghosts are not something that children see from time to time, and the odd kooky conspiracy theorist comes forth to say they were, probed or whatever. This is something that everyone has experienced at least once in their life. Interaction with a spirit from beyond. In fact, the ghost field, as it's known, the ability to interact with this sort of nether world, is something that everybody can attune to, given enough practice and perhaps innate skill. So imagine for me a world of dirt and grime, a world of twisting streets, tall, derelict buildings, a world of criminals, a world of ghosts, and a world of opportunities. Now, right after, or right at the end of our last practice session, we had just rolled the engagement roll for this score, if I am not mistaken.
I seem to recall each of us got to roll 1 die.
That's correct. You ended up with 3 dice to roll. I don't remember the exact results, but I do remember 2 of them. Okay. I don't remember the third though.
I straight up remember rolling that
Awesome.
3.
Yeah. That's right. John was not rolling particularly well that day, but that's okay. Just sometimes the dice don't go our way. However, the other 2 results were 6s. This plan that you had is starting off very well. You find yourselves at the Dark Eye. This is one of the newspapers here in Doskvol. It reports on everything from politics to gossip to the arts, in quotation marks, to rumors. You know, there's all sorts of things. It's printed at a... Ooh, I'm going to do this really quick. We find ourselves in Charter Hall, which is mostly a government neighborhood. However, as you get out towards the edges, some of the older parts of Charter Hall, have in them more industrial settings. This is a small, grimy, 2-story kind of dark brick building set back from the road, slightly bordering one of the canals. It is belching smoke, as you might expect. The printing presses inside are always active because there's always something to report on in Doskvol, if nothing else. The names of the newly deceased, if nothing else. I don't want to necessarily summarize you. I want to take the words out of your mouth. What was the plan that we were going in with? We kind of mentioned it already, but talk me through. You two had part of the plan and then you were separate. What was the thought here? What was the plan for this part of the score?
We were going to enter into the Magpie's offices to see if there was anything that we could potentially use to blackmail them.
And you needed to essentially you had to find a way inside, which was suggested by Thistle.
My plan was to distract one of the guards so that you could get up there. My plan was to have a reason to be here. Whether or not I remember the exact reason, I'll have to come up with a new one. But that's fine. I think, legal consultation about some piece written by someone else.
So, indeed, this is where we're going to start. We're going to jump to Ghast and Waif in just a second. I'm going to set the scene essentially in the front lobby, if you can call it that, of this rag. There's a beaten up old desk, behind which was sitting the guard of this institution, who is a lively old man of about 65. He is absolutely thrilled to be talking to someone as knowledgeable as you. You are already deep in conversation about the intricacies of, the legal ramifications of what they're doing, and he is absolutely thrilled to have someone to talk to tonight. He's kind of leaned over on the desk, and he's like, hang on a second, you're telling me that if Jack needs to report again on Brightstone, then he could obtain clearance to go there under the Media Act of 3 years ago?
Yes, he needs to file the proper paperwork and have it approved by the City Hall. So there could be some delays there. Of course, paperwork takes time. You need to do due process. Now, if you start collecting evidence or facts or stories or hearsay for your journal, and you don't have permission, you could get in very bad trouble. And as much as it may be a fun headline to say, reporter thrown in jail for snooping around, it can also mean that you have a reporter in jail.
We don't exactly have an overabundance of staff here at the Dark Eye, and thankfully I'm not one of the journalists. I'm sure I would make that mistake right away. It's an absolute thrill to be speaking with someone so knowledgeable about the law. You've extended a helping hand, and I'll be honest with you, there aren't many of those here.
Well, I have time to kill. I'm just waiting. So I may as well chat with a kind gentleman like yourself.
Please. Do you have friends coming?
I'm meeting one of the reporters, actually.
Oh, well, all right. I'll. Not sure if many of them. You say he'll be in tonight.
Yes.
Well, all right then. We'll cut over to you guys at this point.
Just point out, I'm gonna go with a light loadout for this
Okay.
particular score.
Great. Yeah.
We have to declare that at the
Same.
beginning of the score, right?
Yes, we would have done so in prep.
So
you're
a
right,
light
but,
loadout for me.
Okay.
Same.
All right. Great. You don't need to declare what's in your load. You don't have to declare what gear you have with you until you decide that you need it, and you can check the box, and we'll go from there. The Morian's plan, Thistle's plan, worked an absolute treat. It seems that you've gotten incredibly lucky tonight. The Dark Eye is, as the security guard mentioned, pretty woefully understaffed, so there doesn't seem to be anyone besides him. At least you haven't seen anyone else at this time. You managed to find entrance on the ground floor and make your way up to the offices of the Magpie. It says so on the door. It's a small room overlooking the hissing, crunching, thudding machinery below. The offices are all kind of arranged in a horseshoe on the second floor, overlooking the printing presses themselves, which would be nice, except that it's deafeningly loud down there. Now, up here, of course, you're insulated from a little bit of that sound, but for now, it's still quite loud. The Magpie's door stands before you. There's a window next to it and one overlooking the machinery on the other side. I will point out, again, a critical success upon this point of the entrance, but our first obstacle here. The Dark Eye does not have a huge budget for security, as has been mentioned, but there does seem to be some Sparkcraft technology inside the office. It'd be akin to a motion detector. It's essentially a device that monitors the disturbance of airwaves, like, say, from opening a door. It will emit a siren.
And we've noticed that this exists.
Correct. So that might hinder your entrance into the offices.
I'm quiet. I'm not exactly airless.
I've been working on that, but it's going to require much more study.
Jesus.
Is there a way that we could slip something under the door or through the lock?
What kind of thing?
Well, something that we could use to interfere with the device inside the room without going into the room ourselves or opening the door.
You want to essentially try to jimmy the device off from a distance.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be doable.
I don't have a lot of experience jimmying off.
Also, you might need to
Offing
boost me
Jim-
now that I'm in my character
Offing
voice.
Jimmy,
She's
on
a
the other
little
hand,
quiet.
we can probably.
She talks kind of down like here, so maybe if she's boosted a bit. Yeah, that seems good. Pretend I'm Ashley Johnson. I do every day.
Pretend I'm Ashley Johnson. Ashley, if you're watching, thank you so much.
Hi.
Okay. Well, that sounds like something that you would like to try to do. Can you describe to me again what you're thinking of doing here, Waif?
Well, I was thinking that if I took my tinkering tools,
Uh-huh.
I could fashion something akin to a coat hanger and slide it like a giant paper clip, slide it under the door and up.
Absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, I think that would be doable. There is
Turn it off.
Yeah, that seems like something that you could attempt to do here. There's a certain risk involved in this, I would argue, but why don't you tell me what you'd like to roll here?
All right. So
What do you think this action would sort of pertain to?
I would think that it's tinkering if I'm using my tinkering tools. Yeah.
Okay, you want to tinker with the device?
I would like to tinker with it.
This would have, I think, standard effect because it would potentially turn the device off. However, it is risky if you tinker in the wrong direction or, say, I don't know, knock it off the wall or whatever. It doesn't look particularly well constructed, so it's not impossible. This doesn't have limited effect or anything. But I would say it is risky. There's the possibility that you might set it off. That's all I'm going to say about that. Do you still want to take the risk?
Not desperate.
No, this is
Okay.
not desperate action.
And to remember, it doesn't affect my dice pool what the risk is, right?
No, exactly.
It affects what happens after
If
the
I
roll.
fuck up.
Yeah, speaking of, actually, I'm going to... Oops, I don't want that. What? Hey, do you want to... Every goddamn time. Yeah, sorry, so what was the result there, Waif?
It's a 1, 2, and a 3.
Ooh, Wee! So, if the highest dice roll is between 1 and 3, then that is not a success. I'm actually just quickly looking for
I
something.
like the euphemistic language of not, oh, it was a failure or you done fucked up.
It's
It
not-
was not a success.
Quite a success. That's exactly right. I had something for this here. Sorry, just give me a brief moment. No, it's
So
fine.
you see in paragraph 9, section 12.
Oh, tell me about that. So, okay, then I'm going to say that the consequence in this case, that's a full failure.
Drop your briefcase, scatter all your papers on the ground, ask for help. We're going to need it.
We're going to need it very
Do
shortly.
the bend and snap. Mm-hmm.
Yep, do it.
Oh, the bend and snap. No, I was going to joke about taking harm from it, like exploding on you or something. You're like, that's
Hit
not so
my
bad.
eye on the doorknob. Ah!
So the effect is going to be that as you are reaching up to tinker with it, these tools are not, they're not really made for this kind of work at a distance. They're made for precision work, right, up close.
Mm-hmm.
They're not made for this kind of fine work at a distance. You accidentally tip it, and it starts to fall off the wall, where it hits the ground, and the alarm starts to clang.
Oh no.
You can resist this effect if you would like, because that's how resistance effects work. That will essentially reduce the consequences. It won't eliminate them entirely.
You'll get to roll 2 dice. It's
I-
an insight?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would like to resist, please.
So your highest result on this roll will deduct from 6 the amount of stress you have to pay to lessen the impact of this.
Okie dokie.
Just to be clear, this won't stop this from failing. This will just stop it from potentially being quite so bad.
Setting off the alarm.
Correct,
right?
exactly.
It was nice knowing you, Ghast.
God damn it. I didn't do anything.
God damn
I
it.
got a 6.
Excellent work. Okay.
Where
so,
were you before?
Where the hell were you? So then this costs 0 stress to resist.
Okay.
Waif, you watch as your makeshift tool on a stick kind of tips the motion detector, and it tips off the wall, and it catches.
Give me that.
It's still facing the door, but it has not gone off.
Give me that.
There's no way you're going to be able to do that again. It's precarious as hell now.
Are you sure if I don't try just one more time, I might be able to make it happen?
Just pass me the wire. Can I try to finesse?
Yeah. What would you try to do?
I'm going to try to just lift this thing and move it very, very slowly so as to not set it off,
Mhm.
but to redirect it so that it's no longer paying attention to a point of ingress.
You'd like to sort of turn this.
Yeah, I
motion
just
detector
at this point I'm not trying to like deactivate it. I don't think that's going to happen.
point.
I just want to move.
Okay. You'd like to. Yeah, you'd like to finesse this. That sounds like something that you can do. I'm just having a quick look at something. No, it seems good.
Can I help him by like holding him?
Yes.
Sorry, can you explain to me how you want to help him?
Well, he's probably really nervous, so I'm
Sure.
going to try to steady his hand.
Weirdly
Just
enough, you
offer-
have to take a stress.
I'm okay
to
with
steady
it. I'll take a stress to steady his hand.
Actually, what I really need is for fucking Thistle to just like beat this guy over the head so that if the siren goes off, it doesn't matter.
Not a bad point.
Is this what kind of action is this?
This is a finesse, like you said. Oh, sorry. Yes, I see what you mean. This is now a desperate.
Oh,
action.
excellent! I'm a daredevil. We're getting an extra die on this
Okay,
puppy.
And does he get an extra one because I'm holding him?
That's correct.
Great.
Did you take stress for?
I did.
8? Okay, well, that's going to be a lot of dice here.
Cool. Okay, here we go. I have a dice tower here. 4 is my highest.
Jesus, scared the hell out of me, man. Okay.
This happens every time we go off together.
Okay.
Oh no.
Awesome.
Got my casino.
Oh,
dice
someone's
here for
mic is sparkling.
Still Ellie Spot? Let us know. In the meantime, I'll tell you. Okay.
Kate's has been muted.
Yeah, so Kate's mic is now muted. Okay.
this. Stopped now, but was it stopped because earlier, or
Was it
stopped because
stopped
you did
when
that?
mine was muted and now it's back?
Yeah, let us know if this issue returns. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's possible, eh, Liz? Possibly your shirt?
It might be my shirt. Let
Okay.
me just take it off. 1 second.
The shirt?
Yeah.
Do you want to get
Could you
muted
mute
first?
me,
Thank
please?
you.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Yes. So, a 4.
Yeah.
Zane. This is... I don't want to tell you whether this is your area of expertise. It feels like something that you would be very good at for whatever reason.
Finesse?
Yeah, like finessing things.
I
Just
got 1 dot in it.
Really? Okay, well, you're doing great.
Liz?
Oh, Liz is muted, weirdly enough, Ellie
Yeah.
Spot. So it shouldn't be doing anything, but
There you go.
okay, cool. We'll come back on and you'll let us know, as always, if everything is good. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you. With the assistance of Waif holding on to your body, I guess. Ooh, you alright? Okay. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Ellie Spot. The motion detector Sparkcraft device shifts and gets stuck. It's now away from the door. It is stuck, but at the very least, it has now opened the passage into the room. It seems to be directed towards the spread of papers on his desk, or on their desk. My apologies.
That's not a problem.
I like the sounds of this. We're gonna go back to Morian, to Thistle.
In front of my mic.
Crunch. The old man has now offered you tea.
I
He
will
seems
graciously accept.
very happy to
Yeah.
sit into a long chat to be like, wow, your journalist friend's not taking a long time to get here. You hear clacking footsteps from down the hall, and emerging from around the corner is another very kind of old security guard. This one seems to be armed, however. It's like it's not a particularly impressive looking weapon, but it's certainly meant to be something to drive people away. He tips his hat to both of you, and then does a bit of a double take. Excuse me, miss. What are you doing here?
I'm here for a legal issue involving one of your journalists. I'm here to.
Thanks, Book.
I would have opened a paper and found a name of a journalist.
Yes, of course. Yes,
Yeah.
this is.
Well, one's called the Magpie. For all we know, the next one's going to be like the Jackdaw.
The jackdaw.
Crow.
I like that.
Crow.
So I'll be honest with you. My very first impulse was Jack Hoff. Don't write
Great.
that down.
Oh.
Son of a bitch. We'll call him Daniel Hoff then. How's that? Is that better? I'll be honest, that was my first impulse, and you gotta go with your gut sometimes. So he kind of comes around and starts.
It should be Jonathan Hoff, which could technically be shortened to Jack. But
I like Jonathan. Let's go with that. I like Jonathan. I mean, I don't think we're gonna meet this person right away, so it's okay. Kind of
ask me
folds.
how that's shortened.
He folds his arms. You're telling me that Jonathan is going to be coming in here tonight to meet with you at this hour?
That's my understanding.
Hmm.
This gentleman over here has been very welcoming, but I will admit I don't typically spend my time hanging around in Brightstone.
We are in Charter Hall at
Charter
the
Hall.
moment.
Thank you.
The shitty part of it.
I was like, Brightstone is the nice one. Charter Hall.
It is.
In this part of Charter Hall.
Miss, I'm going to ask you a difficult question. Did you happen to see any dangerous-looking characters on the street outside behind you? We're normally very careful about who we let into these premises.
Well, just as I was turning onto this road, there was a certain gentleman that gave me a sketchy sense, so I chose to retrace my steps and approach from the north instead of the south. But he seemed to be standing about, not necessarily headed here or there.
Thanks for the tip, miss. He looks over at the other guy. Make sure she stays here. I'm gonna go have a look around. And he starts to make his way back into the building.
I'm sorry, are you going to stop me from leaving?
Hmm?
You don't have authority to do that.
Why I didn't say that, miss? No, of course not. You're free to go whenever you like. I just want to make sure my friend here keeps an eye on you until you decide that Jonathan won't be showing up tonight.
Well, he certainly should, because these documents need to reach his hands.
He nods again and he starts to turn to head back upstairs.
He's being served.
His hackles go up. You can watch his hackles go up.
It's a dance battle.
He there's a little twinkle in the man's the other man. Sorry, I haven't named either of these. It doesn't matter. The
First guard, second guard.
Correct. Guard 1, guard 2. The guard behind the desk is just like, served. What has he done wrong?
You shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said anything. It's a strictly confidential matter. The documents have to get into his hands and no one else's.
It feels to me like you're trying to sort of find a way to keep both of them around.
I mean, or at least...
Delay them, perhaps?
Yeah. I'm certainly doing this through consorting, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So yeah, this is definitely a thing I am undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you call this type of action?
This is, I would argue you're not in a particularly risky position. They can't prove or disprove the veracity of your statement at this time. They'd have to go off and find out. So I would call this controlled. The effect would be standard. Thank you, Requiem. Hi. The effect would be standard because the effect would be you get to delay him slightly.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be what I'd say. This is a consorting roll.
I believe in you.
Do it.
2 and a 4. So my high is 4.
Yeah. So this is a success.
Mm-hmm.
But
I hesitate, withdraw, try a different approach. Minor either do it with a minor consequence, complication, reduce effect, lesser harm, risky position.
I think take harm. No, I'm just kidding. That's my favorite effect.
Oh, paper
the guy
cut.
just shoots you like I don't know what the hell. Didn't do anything. So the first or the second guard who's recently come up is going to stay engaged with you, but the effect level was reduced to limited, so he won't be there for very long. He's obviously kind of checking his pocket watch and making sure that he gets back to his rounds. We're going to go back to you two in the office here. What's the plan?
All right, get inside with me. Let's go. We're going to do this very fast. The alarm might go off, but we'll be able to get out of here quickly.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to try to lead a prowl roll on the way in. I mean, she's clutching me.
So she can prowl with you.
I'm letting him drag me along the ground.
Just like lift her up a bit on my shoulder and just like. So I'm gonna prowl in, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for a super slow-mo, sweeping the arm across the desk in view of whatever this thing is, to just go as slowly as we can.
Sure.
You know, just like in the clock tower affair. So
that's where you did something really slowly.
Very slowly.
So slowly.
Took an entire day.
Roger.
So if I'm leading her in a prowl roll,
yes,
then I have to take stress, right?
You're both gonna roll prowl. If Liz rolls a 1 to 3, you take stress.
Okay.
However, the highest result will count towards the results that you have as well.
And what kind of action is this?
Yes, sorry. Let's talk about that. This is pretty risky. This is not desperate. This is not desperate, but it's a damn risky action.
I did take a desperate action earlier, though, so let's make sure that I
It's
fill
going to be
in
a
that.
standard effect. You're hoping to sweep the papers off the table.
I'm hoping to pull all of the papers off the top of the desk.
And hope that something is good there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then afterwards I'm going to duck down behind the desk where I'm out of sight, and I'm going to go through all the
Look
drawers.
at them. Okay, that sounds like a plan.
And I will remain on your back the entire time.
Unbelievable.
Any
Ready?
kids
Yes.
in a shopping cart.
Just very slowly.
5.
6.
Okay. Hey. Okay.
No
Cool.
stress for you.
So great. So no stress taken from the waif on your back for some reason. Yeah, basically, Aragwen just just waiting for it to come around, so she's close enough to the ground to drop down or whatever. That's not how that works, but it's okay. Okay. Yeah, great. You succeed. So you have very, very slowly, you manage to sweep all of the various pages off his desk. Some of them are unfinished, scribbles, scrawls. Some of them are full copies of The Dark Eye, the newspaper.
How good are you at reading?
What skill is that?
I don't know, study?
I have one.
So
many do you
what's the game like? Are you going to be looking through things kind of quickly or with a lot more deliberation? What are you looking for?
I
mean,
think
know
we
what
should
you're
take
looking
as
forward to.
much as we can, because once we've encountered them tonight, then our fate will be sealed either way.
We take only one thing, and they won't know that we were
But
here.
it doesn't matter if they know, because we're going to end them either way.
Oh my god.
They can claim that we planted the evidence if it shows that we've been here in the
But
office.
there won't be anything new. It'll all be taken away. If there's nothing left, how could we have planted anything?
Ow.
Hurts your head, eh?
This is just like the clock affair. Look, there's only so much longer that they're going to be able to... Fine! And I'm just going to start ripping the drawers open to see if there's anything else that I can find.
I'm
in
looking
here.
for hidden compartments under rugs, tapping on places of the wall that aren't covered by the security
Okay.
system.
I'm not going to need you to roll for that. That's cool. And you're ripping open drawers.
I'm ripping open drawers, but below the desk.
Yeah, of course. So that the motion detector thing can't see you. That's fine.
We still have to get out of here.
That is a good question. Although
Window.
nothing's pointed at you at the moment, anyway. Okay. What you managed to find. So in the drawers again, there's again all sorts of like pieces of parchment, paper. Yeah, you were gonna say something.
I'm just waiting for like the jeweled dagger or like
Shit.
the bindle of coke or...
Well, I mean, this is the Magpie we're talking about here. It's just like a bunch of little shiny, shitty things. Wait, if you actually come across it first, there's notes that seem to be pieced together, like torn apart, but you can kind of re-fit them together. These are notes taken by the Magpie, who is an investigative journalist. They seem to be notes in regards to an upcoming story, but these are absolutely fragments of letters which must have been taken from a cipher. Now, for those of you who may not be super familiar, and within the audience as well, the ciphers are technically a gang or a crew in Doskvol. They are the messengers of the city. And theoretically, they swear an oath to never reveal the contents of the letters that they carry or anything about the senders or anything like that. I mean, not more than they're allowed to.
They don't know anything about us. We don't have any contacts with the ciphers yet.
That's correct. It would seem that in order to gather information for their next story, the Magpie has perhaps stolen from the ciphers.
We should sell them out to the ciphers, and then
Right.
we'll get in their good graces.
I'm gonna make sure that we can send a signal to our good friend so that Thistle can get out of there. I'm gonna hoot like an owl, and then we're gonna run like fuck.
Just like the clock tower affair.
Well, those
Just like
owls
the
are up
goddamn
on the
clock
clock
tower.
tower again. Incredible.
Very slow.
To be clear, you're gonna hoot like throughout the building to signal to Thistle.
I need to make sure she hears it.
Yeah,
And then we're
of course.
But
I
then
know.
we're gonna fucking bail because it looks like we've got what we need.
Well, we don't. Okay, fine.
How much longer do you want to stay here?
What the hell are you doing over there? Okay.
You want to just set this up? I didn't bring anything to drink. Let's go
I wanted
ask
to see
somebody.
if there were friendly spirits in the. No, it's fine. We can go.
You don't get the sense that there are, but you haven't attuned to the ghost field or anything, so I suppose.
Maybe
Okay, we can go.
Maybe there are friendly spirits on the pleasure barge.
Friendly spirit.
A hooting sound drifts down to you. Both of the guards immediately are like, "The fuck is that?" Like, the second one especially.
Well, is it a
has his
good hoot
hand
or is it
on
a
his-
bad hoot?
I got good hoots.
Can we hear?
You heard it here first, folks.
I'm
Zane
cold.
has good hoots.
Got good.
That is really good, actually. I'm
Decent,
quite
decent.
impressed. Take a bonus to. No, you don't have to roll for this. You're like, yeah, I will.
Is there a second entrance? Have I been waiting here all this time for no reason?
The second guard is just he's looking around and he doesn't even bother answering.
I've been told he would be here this evening. I've been here for 20 minutes already. I have other clients to see this evening.
Miss, I don't know what to tell you.
Where is his office?
We can't let you back into the building.
Well,
There's all sorts of secrets. They both seem very excited about the fact that there are secrets here at the Dark Eye. I'm sorry, miss. You'll
I
have
could
to.
sign a confidentiality agreement.
We don't have any of those, miss. Oh, lawyers. They look at each other. Lawyers.
Fine. Do you have an envelope which I can seal and sign?
He absolutely provides you with one.
Pen.
He provides you with...
I'm like trying to busy both of them with stuff. Yeah.
The second one is he's starting to head out, but we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
The first one provides you with the grottiest old fountain pen and ink well, and provides it to you. You can leave a note for Mr. Hoff if you prefer.
Sealed.
Yes, of course. Some wax. He's like heating it up over the smallest little candle. It might take a long time. I don't know. We are just checking my music here. That's okay. Okay.
And I will be writing.
Okay. Yes, please tell me.
No, I was just trying to fill the air.
No, please.
Try that again, and there will be legal ramifications. And that's what I put in the envelope.
Ooh, nice.
No signature, no company name, to some random person. So hopefully it'll scare them off of something. I leave it to them to get scared.
Now,
1 week later, the dark eye was out of business.
I was gonna say let's talk about that for a second. We have no idea how big this thing is. This operation. One of their reporters may very well be going down tonight, and another one of them is going to be like in some sort of unnamed legal trouble for some reason. You are free to head out and meet these two. What's the plan? You said you were running out?
Stay low. If that thing can see you, you can just go.
Okay.
Back out into the hall, or are we going to leap through the glass?
Oh,
into
it's
the
going
machine?
out the window.
Okay,
Why the fuck would I go through the hall? It's a perfectly good window.
Of course it is. No. I'm just saying. This is fine. This leads out.
This is fine. This is fine. I
This leads-
tell myself.
all the time. This leads out onto the rooftop. It's a cool, clear night. It's still obviously dark.
It's a good night for a pleasure barge, isn't it?
It is indeed a very good night for a pleasure barge. The moon is high in the sky.
Where were we rendezvousing with Thistle?
On the docks.
The closest gondolier dock.
Correct.
We got to make sure that she gets hers. Let's just go.
It's okay. Don't look down.
I jump off the building.
Okay, yeah, it's like 2 floors. It's not that bad.
Wait, I thought you had a crippling fear of heights. That wasn't you?
Who was it?
I don't know.
If I had a crippling fear
Someone
of
from my
heights,
past, I
how could the
guess.
clock tower affair ever have happened?
Well, I was thinking of the greenhouse affair where someone had a crippling fear of heights.
Why are they always affairs? Why couldn't
You
we
know
have a
why.
caper?
I've made a note. Scott will remember this.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna just drop off the edge of the roof and get to a gondolier dock.
Absolutely.
I will do this.
No, of course, absolutely. So, we've met up. You have what you believe to be evidence of the Magpie interacting with or stealing from or something the ciphers. Or, by the way, a beloved group of messengers in the city. Thistle is indeed there, or is about ready to meet up. The plan, I think you had asked the gondoliers for the favor, right? To bring you out onto the water alongside the pleasure barge?
Get us to the barge, get us off the barge for one of our coins.
Okay.
Because they're also our getaway. If
Yeah.
they don't help us get away, they don't get the coin. So
You get half this coin now.
Yeah, no. There's no prepayment.
No, understood. You've got, there is someone coming down the canal towards you, but they're still a small ways off from now.
Are we together?
You are. All three of you are met up.
So fruitful.
Yes. It looks like they stole something from the ciphers.
That's significant.
Yes. So this is great because we go to them and we present them with what we know, and then if they decide that they're not going to take us seriously, then we go to the ciphers and the ciphers will take care of them.
Do we start with the ciphers already now? We better get out of town tonight.
That's better because then we're going to tell the ciphers and get in good with them.
Yep.
I like it.
I don't want the ciphers at my back. Do you?
No.
Because I don't want to find out that we knew that they'd been double-crossed and that we chose not to tell them.
But we can tell them.
The ciphers need their beauty sleep just like everyone else.
Very good.
How is one supposed to dress on a pleasure barge?
I just undo one button
Oh.
of my eel skin.
Yeah, can we get a quick visual reference for folks at home? What do you all? How do you imagine that you look? Now it's dark, so you can paint with broad strokes if you'd like.
So using the book descriptors,
Oh, yes.
I went with wiry woman with a long scarf.
Okay.
I imagine she also has quite long hair, so that when the winds blow through this cold, dark, sooty town, that the scarf and the hair.
Nice.
I like that.
I'm a fair man with an eel skin bodysuit.
It hugs your curves deliciously.
Oh, it hugs my curves all right. But I do imagine that I have like an overcoat that I can put on to, make it look like I'm not currently Solid Snake.
Wearing an eel skin suit. Yeah, okay, understood. And
I am a waify woman with stringy silver hair in a
Jesus.
newsboy cap and suspenders, collared shirt, and work trousers.
So you were me when I was 15.
yes.
I don't think I've ever been described as wafy.
This is a really odd assortment of people to be standing on a dock in the middle of the night. Now, it's also Doskvol, so that's
you
not... Yeah, just like...
Waif's just fucking ripped.
Some name's Waif. Say something else.
So we're
Is this
perfectly
going to be
attired for the
enough?
pleasure barge.
Well, there's always option B.
What's option B? Sorry. I'm not there, sorry.
The pleasure barge becomes burial at sea.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
River burial?
It's a different
The
affair.
canal burial.
There's a
Bury in. Never mind.
somewhat faint whistling coming from the gondola that's coming towards you. This is, of course, the signal that you've developed with some of the gondoliers. Not every single one in the city would recognize it, because that's, you don't know everybody.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's a getaway.
I love that. We will see if the gondoliers all sing.
One.
Group vendors, we're gonna get a session. Thank you very much. Good times.
A minute.
An
Yeah,
hour.
honestly, a minute probably. Yeah.
Whee!
The figure that pulls up to you is as gaunt and thin and skeletal as a scarecrow. Is wearing that large, wide-brimmed hat. The whistle is, of course, the signal that this is the one who recognizes you and invites you on. Next stop, the pleasure barge, is it?
Thank you.
Are we having a night out on the town?
Something like that.
Push on the canal. Push. Gondola Gary. There's silence for a brief moment here, and then the gondolier does indeed start to sing, but his voice is not that of a lovely operatic Venetian, but rather that of a rattled
The
old...
finger bus is coming and everybody's jumping. New York to San Francisco. I'm gonna get this.
It's an interesting
Don't
disco.
do it.
Can you imagine? They're like, "I'm sorry, I think you were playing copyright music." He does
Start
indeed.
shuffle dancing on the deck.
Woo! He does indeed start to sing. It's a song that you would recognize as a sort of ancient Doskvol, like, let's do that. No, let's do that. An ancient Doskvol, like, dirge, which is kind of dark and weird, but, they entertain themselves in different ways, right? It's about the water rocking you gently to sleep at night. And it sounds like a lullaby until you realize he means, to death. Yeah, that's correct.
All right. When we get there, I can try to find out where he is so that I can... Oh, right. I can find out where they are so that I can guide with the two of you to get to where we need to go. Who's confronting them?
I guess I can. I figured you would know the ways of such enjoyable settings. So
We don't go on pleasure barges. The pleasure comes to us. It's kind of like delivery instead of
yes,
dining
but
in.
I feel like you've been to a party or two.
Sounds like a good idea.
I've been to a party, sure.
So hopefully you can, yes, find your way to the person we're looking for.
There is a brief kind of halt, and the gondola kind of rocks to a stop briefly. The gondolier turns around. Who did that? He looks back and around at the three of you who are clearly not touching anything and could not stop a gondola in motion even if you could, right?
Ha, ha, ha.
This
Looking
ain't...
for a tip.
No, Missy, this ain't no joke. I'd ask you to get below decks, but this is a gondola.
Waif, off the back of the boat, some bubbling water.
I'm like leaning way far off the gondolier.
Way far off? Okay.
To peer as close to the bubbles as I can.
I mean, what do you think it is? Like, what do you
I'm hoping it's a spirit or ghost
You? Oh, jeez.
helping us.
Helping you?
Mm-hmm. Telling us have a good pleasure barge.
Aren't you the doctor?
But she isn't she's a physiker, not a doctor. There's an educational difference.
Very big distinction.
Either way, I don't really want to test the maxim physic or heal thyself.
Oh, I thought you just meant like.
Hello?
Oh, Christ.
The water starts to boil furiously beneath you, and the gondolier starts to stride. He has incredibly long limbs, so he doesn't take more than a couple of moments to get there. He tries to reach out towards you when the surface of the water explodes upwards. It is indeed a spirit. My description would be like a banshee. Imagine a creature with stringy dark hair, its mouth agape, and it is screaming at you in your face, Waif, because it's exploding up out of the water right now. What do you do?
Do you have a spirit bane charm? I've got a
sure
spirit
as
bane
heck
charm.
do.
Somebody gave me a charm. I don't know what that one's all about.
Oh,
Someone
not a spirit
gave you
bane
a
one.
charm?
You gave me a charm, a green stone amulet necklace.
Oh.
Yeah, that was from a previous.
Yeah, we could tell that it had some kind of spirity thing, but I don't know if we ever figured out what it does. But I'm wearing
I
it.
don't recall you studying it at all, so
All right. Well, I'm just wearing it
Slap
as
it
a
on.
jewel.
just slap that shit on. I love it.
I would love to see what this individual wants.
Okay. In order to kind of interact with a ghost, you need to generally attune yourself to the ghost field, right? They can't interact physically with humanity. I should just quick primer, right? Spirits are generally the ghosts of, bodies that were not burned in ectoplasmic fire. For whatever reason in Doskvol after the cataclysm, spirits will rise within a day or two of death. They typically seek vengeance. Perhaps upon the person who killed them, if they were killed. Perhaps just on people at large. Perhaps something that they required vengeance for in their life. It is said that some spirits are not vengeful, but kind. This has yet to be proven, really. This one seems incredibly angry as it rises up out of the water, towering above you. It says.
It says menacingly.
Yeah, basically, exactly. So, in order to, ghosts can attempt to possess you and drain you of your spirit. They can't interact with things in the same way that you can, but you also can't interact with them in the same way, right? They belong. Let's think of it slightly separate.
We're on different
dimensions.
planes.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way of. It's a good way of discussing it. You want to see if you can interact with the creature?
I'm trying to see if I can get a sense of what they want. Maybe they're just having a bad day. Or maybe
entirely
we did
possible.
something to make them angry and we can make them feel better.
Great. So this sounds like you're trying to
Attune
to
to the ghost field.
Sure.
Yarp.
Does anyone Want to help Waif, or I don't know, you can let...
I want it to go away.
Okay.
We're in the middle of a different thing entirely.
Yeah, actually, before we set out today,
Oh, shit.
I, of course, was making sure that I had my Spirit Bane charm that I always carry, and learning that Waif didn't tend to carry them, I made sure that I slipped a lesser type of charm into one of her pockets, one of her many overall pockets. So this is my assist roll. Maybe it's something to maybe not like make them avoid you, but make them slightly less mad at you, or damn discretion.
It's Chanel number 7.
Yeah.
For ghosts.
So this is my assisting and using my foresight, where twice per score I can assist without paying stress.
Okay.
Nice.
So, just paint the
Yeah.
picture for me, because I think...
What do you mean you don't carry a Spirit Bane charm?
I'm not afraid of them.
Yes, of course, but you also don't have to be afraid of trees. But if one falls on you, it's nice to have
I
something
don't
sharp.
carry a tree bane's charm either.
Yes, but you could have something on you that could help, saw through the branches.
So if a tree falls on me, I should be able to saw myself out?
Look, it's not a good example, but I just want to make sure you're safe out there.
That's really kind.
Anyway, I'm gonna get back to writing this document.
And
Reaching
then
into
you're,
bag,
like,
slightly
slipping
later
in.
in the day,
Yeah.
cut to slip.
Yeah.
I guess I like to think I'm doing that thing of like, oh, that's so nice, but I don't take it, and I just go off on my merry
Yeah.
way, and then you sneak it in.
So exactly, as the planner, essentially the thinker, the forethought thinker, I'm gonna sell myself out. Thank you very much. You've essentially placed it in her pocket. Okay, cool. So no stress. Awesome. This is going to aid. It will not. It will assist. Yes, it will assist in the sense that. No, you can take a die. That's what I mean. Did you already? You did.
I did.
Okay.
Hey, that's a 6.
Okay. The spirit has indeed leapt out of the water and is, like I said, sort of towering above you, but it doesn't seem to be coming any closer. Perhaps that is the force of the various charms that are being carried by all of you, and including presumably the gondolier. He doesn't seem to be holding anything, but it would be foolish of him to not carry charms out here at night alone. What do you think it's like when Waif attunes to this ghost field? Again, imagine it's like a psychic force that presses on your mind, right? It's not a physical thing, but it's something that you can kind of, those 3D images that you can kind of if you unfocus your eyes, you can slip into them or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I imagine it's something like that, but how would you describe that?
Yeah, and I definitely imagine that when you put eye drops in and you blink your eyes a whole bunch and you have that kind of glassy, fuzzy vision for a bit.
Okay.
I feel like that's what happens just briefly, like a flash, and then you're in. And it feels like somebody is squeezing your brain. They have a hand on either side and they're just pressing. So there's immense pressure.
Okay.
Because you're forcing yourself into another plane
Nice.
temporarily.
Yeah. Waif is indeed in front of you. You can both see that the spirit has held off on attacking her and all of you. She's become slightly less material. It's hard to describe because she she hasn't left this plane of existence, but there's something that's happening to her. You feel like if you weren't looking at her, she would disappear. That you're keeping her there through force of will.
This feels like a really unwanted distraction.
Well, can't have it all in Doskvol.
Can't have it all.
The whole point of starting a criminal enterprise is so that eventually, yes, we could have it all.
Well, we
That
don't
was
currently. We currently have some sort of spirit that Waif is attempting to attune with.
well. That's not included in my definition of all.
Well,
Shit.
I'm gonna
I'm just clutching my
throw
spirit
out my
nature.
concealed palm pistol.
Oh,
If these would hit that, we'd be fine. But it can't. So, snap it back up my sleeve.
You get the sense that the gondolier clocks the fact that you have a weapon. He doesn't move. I'm just saying. The spirit does not move its mouth, but its voice resonates in your mind. You can hear it. It says to you again. Yay!
Don't, sir.
Best NPC.
All right.
Can we keep it?
Oh, the one that doesn't talk. Okay, great.
You wanted to have a pet? Oh, God.
Salmon?
Can we go back to the office so that I can place a want ad for a new crew?
Good luck with that.
Must
Dark eyes going
must
down.
not want spirits for pets.
The guy who posts the wanted ads is now gonna stop because he just got a cease and desist.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it was Jonathan Hoff's. The Banshee does indeed speak to you in your mind.
Around your neck. It is mine.
Oh, this?
Give it to me.
Sure.
Okay, great. Yeah, so you're just okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The spirit is drawn towards the charm, which glows a bright emerald green. It seems to be moving ever closer to it. Its eyes are widening.
I didn't know this was yours. I'm so sorry.
Where did you find it?
It was in the home of Lady.
We're thieves.
Oh no!
Maybe don't let it know that we're thieves.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
No, because we're there was a lady. It was
Corvetta?
Lady Cordelia Riverford's manor.
Thank you. I can't read my handwriting.
The spirit's eyes flash with recognition, perhaps.
Lady Cordelia, give it to me now.
Okay.
She extends her hand. The charm leaves your hand and seems to vanish into the ether. The spirit moves back slightly and then disappears down into the water.
Wait, I didn't get your name.
There is silence from beneath the water.
Damn it.
The gondolier turns to you.
She always like this?
Kind of.
It's how she prefers to be.
What the hell did she do?
Appease an angry spirit.
You can just do that?
He stalks up to you. He's like 6'5" and all bones. Like, he's a really weird looking character, I'll tell you that.
How did you do that?
Oh, she just went away.
He narrows his eyes at you.
We're not going any further until you tell me how you drove that spirit away.
I don't think me telling you is part of our deal. I would keep steering us towards the pleasure barge if I were you.
Ooh, it sounds like you're trying to do something. What are you trying to do? It sounds like you're trying to intimidate this person.
We're just talking.
We're just talking. Okay. What's the thought here? How do you
The thought is genuinely.
This gondolier has not yet given his name, no?
Sir, I hope you understand that all my compatriot was trying to do was to protect your gondola. In fact, she did you a favor. So, knowing that this means an auspicious journey is ahead of us, perhaps we should just complete our business, be on our way. After all, I don't understand the makings of spirits. Do you? It's far beyond my comprehension.
I'm sure you could hire her to potentially teach you her ways, but giving away her particular abilities seems like it wasn't part of the original contract.
So I'm just supposed to take a cursed woman along with the two of you. Is that what you're saying?
It's the opposite, in fact.
Your boat is the one that.
My boat does not attract spirits, miss.
Well, clearly it did, and she made it go away.
I think she attracted it here to practice her foul necromancy.
I think I asked it to go away. And if you don't watch your tone, I could ask it to come back.
None of us want to do anything except be friends here.
Look, if you don't want to do the job, I'm sure that we could speak to insert higher up gondolier that we know.
The second in command that you know is named
Griggs?
Griggs. Yeah.
The Orbor.
I'm sure we could speak to Griggs, and he would assign us a different gondolier, more willing to earn the gondoliers their coin and their passage.
He turns away. He sweeps away dramatically from you and turns around.
No. Don't do that.
He turns back.
You lay one finger on my friend, there will be repercussions.
Not many, though. None of us know how to fight.
Look, I have a concealed bomb.
Say that louder.
We saw she's packing.
Yeah,
She's packing.
I'm packing.
He.
Just be
Pew! It's a little pea shooter. They're so cute. Okay. He looks between the three of you, and then he just kind of nods slowly.
You haven't made an enemy today. But I'll mention to Griggs that perhaps the three of you felt it necessary to put me through my paces.
Hey, I'm going to take my Spirit Bane charm and I'm going to flick it at him.
Okay.
Do you have one of those?
He reaches out. His hand is like large. It's too large for his frame. It's honestly a bit strange. He catches it between a thumb and forefinger.
I have one of these? One of these toys?
It's not a toy. There's a reason why that thing didn't come after me. It's yours. With my compliments. Let's keep going.
So generous.
He keeps the Spirit Bane charm.
It's because we're here to make friends tonight, not enemies, right?
Enemies would have tried to sell up their heroism.
The gondolier turns around and begins to hum his dirge-like tune once more. His long pole, his oar, extends up, down into the water, and we push off down the canal again.
I'm gonna make a big show of like lying down with my head against like the gunwales and just be like, everything's cool. It's chill. Inside,
We're freaking out
also out of the Spirit Bane charm. Oh my god, what the fuck am I gonna do with this other spirit? But you know, for now, everything's sweet. Everything's all good.
Okay. So you're trying to present like a brave face, okay?
Yeah.
I liked this assortment of tactics, by the way. This was very confusing for him, but it seemed to work. Terrified, indebted to, and, you know,
Threatened.
perhaps threatened, but more so I feel like he was like, okay, the logical one. Yeah, the logical one. This is good. I can work with this.
They are like one.
Somehow tracks.
I think before we get to the pleasure barge, we should take our break, because we're about to reach the Silver Sun Pleasure Barge.
We are number one.
We are in the pleasure barge.
Yay! Let's take a break briefly. I think so.
You heading out, Jaffney?
No,
Oh.
You good?
I never needed to before. I never need to
Well,
now.
Scott, do you want to head out first
I
then?
will at some point. Yeah, but we can. I don't have. I
You
will.
can do it now if you want. And I'll talk to John, or I'll
wanna
leave
talk
now.
about me? Is that what's happening?
No, I'm just trying to give you priority.
No, I'm just
In
kidding.
case you
Very
need
nice,
to-
Thank you.
We're not taking a long break, folks. We're just taking.
No,
a
we're just gonna
break.
take a couple moments.
We'll be back in 4 hours.
The best pleasure barge since Jabba's. I will. I'm gonna pocket all my things.
Bye.
Stand up, and yes, we'll be back in just a couple of moments. We'll be Stuart here. Talk 'em up. Or not. You know, you do what you want.
What do you think happened in the clock tower affair?
I have a feeling like the gears are turning on that one.
John, before we started today's session, he was like, how do you two, Kate and I, feel about kind of ad-libbing, throwing in just random scores that we may have had in the past that we haven't played out. So these are just, every so often you'll hear, probably it'll be the something affair, because that seems to be what we've set up. But you'll hear
want a
us
caper.
mentioning it, and we'll, you know, maybe more details will get added over time. What about you? Do you want to go next, or do you want me to go next?
I'm not going.
Okay, I'll go next. Could you mute me, please?
Thank you.
A blunder. Like the blood steel blunder. Caper, affair, blunder, trick,
Yeah.
job.
Job trick job. Hi, folks. Thanks for being with us. For your very amusing commentary. I'm the incident. Ooh, incident's a good one. Conundrum. Case. The
Quandary.
case of blah blah blah. Case of the curious caper. Wait a second.
It's hard to caper in a clock tower. Like, where is there to caper? They're all like, catwalks and
Climb.
gangways. Kerfuffle. Oh. Kung Fu Fenders, I'm not sure I'm ready to talk about how I'm feeling yet. I think we're going to wait until the end of the episode before we're going to do that.
I feel fantastic. And it never felt as good as how I feel right now. Except for maybe when I think of how I felt that day when I felt the weight that I do right now.
I unfortunately don't know where this is from.
It's a Jonathan Colton song.
Oh. Well, I've reached the limits of my knowledge, apparently.
Alas, alack, you only know like 20 of his 200.
It's true, he did do a song a week for quite a while there.
Yes.
The case of the confounding clock tower caper.
Oh, in general.
I'm feeling better, Kung Fu Fenris. I have been ill,
Yep.
but I also have been vaccinated, so I stood a much better chance of not being seriously ill. And that seems to have borne out, so.
And I'm probably asymptomatic. Or immune. Probably not immune. So yeah,
I mean, vaccines do work.
they do. They do. And I had mine slightly more recently, so I don't know. Things happen.
We're past the point where we can start figuring out where you caught
Yeah.
something and from who and why and what.
Yeah.
So
Really.
I got the
How about
human malware Kung Fu Fenris. Yeah, I that's why we did not, in fact, begin last week.
Thank you, Crosser.
Because we couldn't.
Yeah. Could not, or 2 weeks ago, whenever we were supposed to, didn't happen
No.
because the health's woof.
That's not fun, Kung Fu Fenris. It's not fun at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fine now. The only real thing that I found is that I just have slightly less breath than I once did. It makes singing difficult.
Alas,
Laugh
your
at my
career-
misfortune.
Alas,
Your career
my
is
singing.
approaching an end. John's singing career.
Oh,
It's done for.
good lord. I was
I've been
concerned
paid to
briefly.
sing.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's true. As have I. I don't know if we've done the same gig, John.
I think so.
I'm trying to think of something that I was like, ooh, did we ever? No, but yeah.
No, I was paid to sing to recruit people to a performing arts class.
I mean, that sounds.
It's like recruit people to
little intense.
a
It was
cult?
it was
Yeah.
not great. I did not enjoy it.
I did not enjoy it. How's everybody out in there in Chatland? All right, thank you, Crosshair, for thank you for letting us know.
Maybe two.
I think
I,
you'll be
don't,
alright.
I don't think it would. I guess because you're facing this way.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just leave it for now. It's been working so far.
It's all right, Anyfiel. You can eat as much as you want. Speaking of Anyfiel, I think now is as good a time as any, Fiel, to mention if you want. So Blades in the Dark uses D6s. That said, a lot of the games that we play on this channel use D10s, and
Which have all tidily been packed away, I'm
I
afraid.
have quite a
So.
few here, thankfully.
Yeah.
Not that bag, though. That bag has other D10s in it. But thank you, Luma Fate, Crosshair.
Thank you.
If you're looking for bespoke, chunky, awesome, sharp D10s, not like in a dangerous way, Dice by Anyfile and Anyfile are awesome, and we've been really enjoying using them of late here on RPG Clinic.
It's a premium product
It is.
for
They're so
premium role
pretty.
players.
Damn, what's a non-premium role player? You know what? Maybe don't answer that question.
Run of the mill role player?
I should have dropped like the name of somebody who got kicked off Critical Role or something like that.
Ooh, that'd be good. Yes. I don't know if we want to enter in on that hashtag drama right away.
Yes.
All right. How are we feeling? Are we ready to jump back in?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's jump into this one here. The gondola sails along as the scarecrow of a man who never gave you his name pushes you towards the southern end of Doskvol. I'll show you what I'm referring to here. I'm going to cover up my face for a moment here. So, of course, that's kind of hard to see individual names, but for the players on the other side, down in the southeast corner, that's the Dusk River, where it flows in and then eventually out towards the ocean in the top left and the northwest. You're headed essentially down to the Dusk River. That is where the pleasure barge makes its trip up and down, never leaving the lightning towers for fear of Deathland scavengers and Deathland horrible ghosts.
I'm just going to point out, just before we swing back into this, that you went through the whole NFL's D10 shtick, and NFL left immediately before, and then came back immediately after you did your whole thing.
That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. NFL,
We don't do it
we
just
said awesome
for,
stuff.
just for to hear us. Like, we
Yeah.
do it because we mean it.
I saw like, oh, my food arrived, and I was like, oh, great, you can eat while I compliment your dice. Jeez, I didn't realize it was getting up. Anyway.
Requiem, you imagine it because that's most of the sound effects that we do.
Thanks, friends.
The distant sounds of music start to reach your ears. Off, not too far in the distance now, there's some sort of sea traffic, but most trade actually takes place, of course, at the docks at the northern end of the city. There is some traffic that kind of comes in and out of the city here, towards the south end, but less, especially at this hour of the night. What you can see in the distance is what must be the Silver Sun Pleasure Barge. It's a long craft, relatively low to the water. The most striking feature about it is bedecked in silver, right? There are flags kind of flying on top. There's tassels hanging off the sides. It seems to glimmer in the moonlight. There's a large dome in the center of the boat. You can't see into it from this distance. Might not even be. It might be opaque, we're not sure necessarily. And there's, as I mentioned, the distant sounds of music from coming from it.
Which of my two compatriots would you say is dressed nicer?
Now, I don't want to make judgment calls, but
I'm not asking you.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm asking these two.
Oh, thank
It's
God. Okay.
definitely not me.
And I guess it's Thistle.
No one told me how to dress.
We're gonna get you some nice new clothes. There'll be a shopping
I'm
montage.
covered
You
in
under
blood.
one button, apparently.
Covered in blood.
I'm a physicker.
Why are you covered in blood?
Because I physic.
This isn't going to work. There's one thing to remain out of sight. It's another thing to draw attention to yourself because you're covered in
Don't worry, I'm
viscera.
I'm not. It's just the patterns on my shirt.
All right. Well, I hope that you enjoy your time on the pleasure barge. And as we snake up close to it, So I assume that this is not normally meant to be boarded en route.
Nope. Very much not, actually, yeah. But I presume the plan is to essentially stealthily creep up behind it and yeet someone or all of you on board.
We're all going to get on board.
Good.
I'm just preparing for if somebody sees.
Okay.
But I can't lead them in a prowl up on board. Look, it's not like they're going to continue checking tickets the whole time. So as long as we make it out on deck, no one's going to care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So look like you belong.
The gondolier cackles again in his dry, dusty way. And as he kind of cranes his neck around, he just says, "Have fun on the barge. How long should I give you?"
Don't stay too far away.
Of course. You remember the whistle? I'll be listening.
Thanks, friend. It's very, very kind of you.
and the gondola pulls up alongside the barge. It is much larger up close. Shocking how that works. The boat seems to be being propelled by a motor of sorts. Now, obviously, you're not close enough that it's in danger. It's relatively loud at this end of the boat, so the clatter of the gondola pulling up alongside hasn't drawn any attention. It's a large, long craft with, as I mentioned, this large dome in the center. Now that you're closer up, you can see it is indeed opaque. You can't see inside. There may be curtains drawn, or it might be painted from the inside. It is covered in, as I say, silver flags and tassels, and you watch as a small firework, a little improvised explosive device, a firecracker, kind of gets shot out of the top of the dome, and it cracks in the sky. A nice bright silver spark against the emptiness of the cosmos beyond. Would you said you wanted to lead a prowl.
I'm gonna lead a prowl to get these two fine thieves on the boat.
Okay. Before you lead your prowl action, I just want to get a sense here. Because you mentioned this before, but I want to make sure I understand. The plan is to essentially find the Magpie and either get them privately or approach them, all of you together, with this blackmail? Was that the plan?
I think that our best bet is to kind of use a little bit of I've totally fingered my microphone. I think it's probably best if we, go in a little bit of a shock and awe sort of thing, like the three of us kind of going and being like, wham, here it is. This is what's happening. This is the consequences if you don't, and get them the fuck out.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Hard and fast.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think that we're going to win a whole... This is an investigative journalist. If it's one person who's just kind of coming along being like, well, hey, I've got a little bit of things in here, then I'm worried that might not be enough for them.
Yeah.
Just opens your coat.
A relative small fry that you could probably overpower, not physically, but like...
Because quite literally the other option is that it's going to be a double tap in the head, dump in the river, so... They've got one chance, and if we notice any hesitation, we have to do this.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna start a clock for y'all. There we go.
Yay.
Currently, it has 0 pieces filled in, but it's not a large barge. But I'm gonna start a 4-segment clock called Find the Magpie, right? Because we do not know where they are at this moment in time. I'm also going to hold off on starting a clock called You're Fucked or You're Found or whatever. I'll hold off on that for now, but of course...
I mean, You're Fucked could be a completely different thing on this.
That is actually very true, and we will see. We'll see about that one. You want to lead a group prowl action to board the ship, is that correct?
Yep.
Awesome.
All right, everybody hop on board.
Hop on board. So are we piggybacking on Zane again?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, literally
not literally.
Okay.
Waif would love to, but if you don't...
Absolutely unbelievable.
I'm helping everybody on. I just wanted to know who's the person, because what I could do is, let's say that one of us gets under suspicion, we're like, oh, we're here for...
Yeah. I
Because she's got the high
have a
consort.
fine cover identity.
Right.
So I am the
So
kind
fine.
of person who should be here.
I'm good at convincing people, and I'm
Whatever that kind of
at
person
consorting,
is.
but she's the consorter.
Great.
Right, so-
Perfect.
Might I suggest... wow, Scott, why did you do that? Yeah. Might I suggest Maureen Dangerfield? Obviously the purveyor of pleasures.
Yes.
Anyway, yes.
Secret agent man.
No, Morrigan Dangerfield. Come on.
Morrigan Dangerfield is
Yeah.
a nice... That's a good cover identity,
Yeah.
and I'm writing it down forever.
Forever.
Or like the name of a dominatrix
Well,
porn.
yes. For the pleasure
Yes.
barge.
No, I'm
Which
Morgan
one?
I'm
Dangerfield.
not a client.
Does Morgan have 2 G's or
Oh, I
1?
like the sounds of that.
Morrigan.
Morrigan.
It's 1G.
1G.
1 G,
2
2 R's, 1 N. But it's not what you think.
Okay, let's do it. So
Sorry,
we're
Morgan.
Apparently.
Dangerfield.
Okay, I didn't realize we were actually doing this.
Oh,
but I'll go with
I
it.
leave it to
I'm
you
fine
guys.
with it. I'm
That's
fine
all
with
up
it.
to you. Let's do it. So we're leading a prowl action, so everybody needs to roll their prowl. If anybody rolls a 1 to 3, that will incur stress for the leader of the prowl action. Zane, who is, of course, Ghast, is obviously doing his best to keep everybody safe.
Is this a risky
We
action?
should talk about this. Yes, this is a risky action. There's the potential of being found out. It will have standard effect.
4.
6.
5.
Okay, cool. So 4, 5, 6?
Yeah.
Shit, man. Okay, great. You take no stress as everyone is able to, under cover of the darkness, but also the sounds of the motor, easily kind of hop on board. Now, the deck is relatively wide around this large dome. There doesn't seem to be an entrance into it here. It's probably at the bow, right? You've mounted from the stern. My apologies. There doesn't seem to be anyone present at this part of the ship, at least for now.
Do we have any idea what the Magpie looks like?
It's a great question.
Were there any photos in the office that we might have noticed?
No photos.
I don't suppose that there's
No
like a
caricature drawings?
little like
I would have
etching of their face for the
requested a
byline.
descriptor of the person we needed from Salia.
Yeah,
From Salia.
that's fine. So this is something that you did in preparation.
Yes.
I like the sound of it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I would have asked Salia.
Yeah. No, that's fine. People don't necessarily have like engravings or, well, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
photographs or whatever of themselves, or oil paintings of themselves just hanging about unless they're
Look
very
at
wealthy.
this graph.
Graph, look at this.
Cameo.
Lift the graph. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
They belong to every song we know.
But Sally was able to provide you with a relatively decent, visual description. The Magpie stands average height, is relatively dresses quite conspicuously, preferring feathered gowns and cloaks, hence the Magpie as sort of the moniker. They have very short cropped dark hair and
Like a magpie.
like a magpie, and a pointed nose. Also like a magpie.
Sorry, a pointed nose.
A short cropped dark hair.
Okay.
And they prefer wearing sort of feathered attire, be that gowns
Incredible.
or capes. There's a certain degree, Salia described to you, a certain degree of drama around the Magpie. You can tell she's like rolling her eyes a little bit about it.
Of course.
Not something you want usually in Doskvol, to attract more attention to yourself.
Well, they've attracted the wrong sort, haven't they?
Is there anybody on deck who looks like they're like a madam?
A madam? There are... Yeah, hang on.
What?
Quick little fortune roll for you. Yeah. At the bow of the ship, so as you make your way around towards the bow of the ship, there's a couple of people milling about. Everyone seems to be inside. Now that you're much closer to the dome, you can hear the music from within, as well as perhaps some laughter, some giggling. There's a couple of figures standing outside. One of them seems to be on lookout, like a captain or a boatswain or something. But there's someone who's dressed relatively scantily, smoking a hand-rolled cigarette. That's a pretty good... if you had to take a guess, that could be someone who works here.
And walk straight up to this person.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, there was a gasp.
Nope, that was me inhaling.
All right. Sorry, just smoking a cigarette. You're just like, oh yeah,
Nice.
get that second hand.
Well, it's gonna be too high.
I'm gonna walk straight up.
Let's do that.
I was told to get another bottle over to the Magpie, and I have no idea what room they're in. Can you help me out?
Looky here. We've got a new one on the pleasure barge. She's like already all up on Zane, just kind of like putting her hands down your eelskin. Well, sorry, under the corner of your
Yeah,
coat
that's
or your
fine.
overcoat
It's
on
okay.
your eelskin bodysuit. Sorry, you said you needed a bottle for somebody?
I need to get a bottle over to the Magpie's room.
Where is it?
That's the question. I don't know.
Where's the bottle?
I don't know.
I would have
Yes.
if Zane had told me what his plan was.
Very possible.
Gotta do a bottle trick.
Great. I would have
What?
handed him my fine bottle of whiskey,
Which just happened to have.
which is on my spider items.
Fucking sweet, but
Nice.
Done.
it's here.
And that still counts towards your loadout,
It
right?
is. So it's
Yeah.
one. This one actually weighs something unlike everything else I've established thus far. So
Nice.
I've
Amazing.
used one of my 3 load.
That's pretty good. 1 of 3.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. Good. Hoping I don't have to hit you up with, I don't know.
No.
something else.
Lots of my stuff is free, so.
It's pretty good. The madam raises an eyebrow at this fine bottle of liquor that you've procured from the inside of your coat. Oh, Magpie's spending freely tonight.
For more than one thing.
You ever been with them before?
No.
She wraps an arm around you affectionately and takes you towards the bow. A little friendly advice.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing up the meek and quiet thing. You're gonna need to do the opposite.
Okay.
He's not here. Thank you. Wow.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. They're not here because they want to take control. They're here because they're in control of their life and they want to give some of it up. Catch my drift?
I think I can make that happen.
All right. Take a deep breath before you go inside. 4th curtain back on the right. So she'll.
4th
Direct
curtain back
you.
on the right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make myself look a little more chunk.
Chunk. Okay. All right.
Chunk.
Straight on till morning.
Would you like to stuff some of my unusual weapons under your jacket?
Now, what the hell does that mean? What is an unusual weapon?
I mean,
I'm worry your waif like your.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Super Dylan.
I'm
None of us
fair.
are chunk. None of us are chunk. Thank you,
us are
Super
Just
Dylan.
stuff me under your coat and I'll pretend to be your biceps.
Yeah, that's a heist I can get behind.
3rd curtain on the left. Was it? 4th curtain on the left. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Of course. We're all in this together, aren't we? And who knows, maybe you'll be a regular fixture around here.
That's what I'm hoping.
I mean, I'm hoping to retire soon, to be honest. She takes a long drag of her cigarette.
I didn't catch your name.
It's Annie.
Hi, Annie. I'm Zane.
It's a pretty damn good name.
It's because I'm damn pretty.
She gives you a like, all right, I can get behind this, so to speak, and motions you on. Now I have to ask about Thistle and Waif.
Hello.
What is Waif? Are you also planning on essentially entering the Pleasure Dome at the same time, or are you hoping to accompany Zane inside?
Well, I feel like. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go.
I feel like we would have established at least that whoever was confronting the Magpie would be the ones with the fragments of the letters.
Yeah.
Which I don't have.
We can say I gave them to you in the
Yeah, but I-
gondolier or whatever.
Where am I going to put it?
Absolutely correct.
Down your eel skin.
Well, there was a discussion, I think.
I'm fine to do the confronting.
Oh, you could confront them, and if they don't believe you and demand proof, then you could lead them to the stern where no one is. And I'll be waiting there with my smoke bombs.
I love this.
So we can either bring them to the stern, which may be currently unoccupied, but maybe a bit more public, or we could all load into the room.
There's probably someone else in the room with them.
Oh yeah.
You'd like? Yeah, it's very possible.
Okay, stern.
I'll hunker down somewhere I don't need to speak to people, except the spirits.
Are you sure? Then I'm going to.
They want to be controlled. We can put them out to the stern.
Morgan Dangerfield it is.
Yes.
Woo! Would you like my demolition tools?
Why do you have this?
No, it's okay. I have.
You ever have your balls burnt?
Now, honestly,
How about my lantern, my climbing gear?
Sonata
I'm gonna
Physiker.
have-
CBT for me isn't cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yep. No, I have. They want to. What was it? Not be in control.
Yeah.
There are many ways to give away control.
Enter into a Findome relationship with.
Yes, actually,
I
mean,
specifically.
honestly,
Specifically, that is the
not
end
the worst
goal.
idea.
So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Coming with. That was
You're getting towards the stern.
So I'll be there if you need me. I'll be waiting.
Let's go.
Waif, before we're gonna head in very shortly, I'm just gonna need you to find a way to probably either avoid detection or, how are you going to avoid questions from people who might come to the stern? Like, who are you and what are you doing here? What are you
Question.
And get the fuck off this boat.
Where's Buttercup?
That's some really good questions. I was looking for the bathroom.
So it's to be deception. How would you deceive people?
On the pleasure barge, it's the head.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus. I knew I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said anything here.
No, I'm here because somebody mentioned a concern about a haunting.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so I was told to be here discreetly because they didn't want to arouse panic. They want to arouse other things, as you do on a pleasure barge.
Nice. Oh, wow. Okay. So yes, definitely bonus points for the euphemisms.
Thank you.
I just want to see how kind of well you'll be able to maintain this cover story if necessary.
Okay.
I'm not in charge of determining what you're rolling here necessarily, but it's just to speak that back to you. It sounds like you're trying to pitch yourself as a whisper, which is not who you are, of course, but pretending to be one on the pleasure barge in case there are questions raised. What would you kind of roll for that?
So I'm gonna just set up like I belong here. I'm sitting cross-legged at the stern with my eyes closed.
Okay.
And I want to roll a tune.
A tune. That's totally fine.
Is that legit?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, and so you're not actively attuning, but you're using that ability and that skill to kind of give off a certain air.
Yes.
So yes, this will be a controlled position because you're not currently in any danger, with potentially standard effect. You're not gonna like take over the barge or whatever. No one else around to help. You can of course spend 2 stress if you would like an extra die.
Yeah.
You can also ask for a devil's bargain if you so choose.
No, I'll do that.
Respect.
So 2 stress this will cost,
This
right?
will cost 2 stress.
Oh. Hello. 2 sixes.
Is that a crit?
2 sixes and a 4.
Very nice. We're gonna come back to you. So you're gonna succeed with extra effect. Now, what is the effect? The effect is don't bother me. So people are essentially going to either believe that you belong or buy your story. There will be extra effect here, but I will come back to you.
Okay.
The 2 of you are entering the Silver Sun Pleasure Barge to find the 4th curtain on the left, to find the Magpie.
Maureen typically wears a long coat with her long scarf, and she's unbuttoning the long coat because the plan for this excursion was to play the character of Morgan Dangerfield.
I love this.
So she is wearing something that would imply that she is more on the employee side than on the partaker side, as far as what that attire amounts to, but isn't fully removing her coat till and get to the 4th curtain on the left.
Makes sense. You've already begun acting like you belong here. The doors to the interior are sealed, essentially. They've been not latched shut, but sort of vacuum sealed. Not vacuum sealed, you know what I mean? They've been sealed. So as you open them, a large cloud of like purple smoke billows out. It smells sweet.
Pull my scarf up.
Good shout. It smells quite sweet, and I think you can immediately tell that there is probably something in the smoke that perhaps enhances one's senses, or it's hard to know exactly what it does. That said, I'm going to need both of you to make a resistance roll. This is a fortune roll. This is not to resist harm.
Okay.
But this is to get a sense of what the effects of this smoke gas might be on you. It's not called fortitude, it's called prowess. Please.
Prowess. 2 of those.
Again, this is not to avoid any harm.
5.
Okay.
1 and a 2.
Woohoo! Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna be.
Hi. Zane, you've in fact probably encountered some of this before. It's a relatively new affair here in Doskvol, but people have been taking turns essentially. It's sort of like the nitrous oxide craze of Victorian England, right? People take turns breathing in this heady gas, which, yes, it makes you a little lightheaded, it makes you a little high, but it enhances sensations, typically pleasurable ones if you're doing it right. You're used to it, so you know what the effects will feel like. You are feeling a little floaty, but nothing too bad has happened.
They're soaring. They're soaring and they're stop.
I got my scarf up, but I don't. Seeing as I rolled poorly, I assume that I have failed to stop myself from breathing in enough. So
Morian, I wonder if you've ever experienced this before, considering it's a relatively high class kind of affair. The sensation is one of floating. You're in control of your actions, you're in control of everything. There is a pleasantness to your mind now. There's a sense that everything's gonna be totally cool. A relaxation that's setting in as you both move through. The smoke also acts as a bit of a way of making the room seem larger by reducing your vision, which is a cheap way of doing it, but there you go. In the scent, you can tell now, essentially it's got curtains lined down the walls, which house small rooms. In the center of this room is a sort of little cabaret, a small raised stage, some tables set around it. People are appreciating the music that's being played, and a couple of people are dancing. One of them appears to be a patron, someone who's in a state of like half undress, throwing their head around and, you know,
That's a problem.
seemingly enjoying themselves quite a bit.
How do you intimidate somebody who's soaring?
Soar right alongside them. And then tell them how far away they are from the ground. I'm not there. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, this could be a
creepy
flashback.
voice.
I don't know why it would have happened this way, but you know. Hey, just in case.
Hanging off one of the clock hands. So, what if we ever intimidate somebody who's absolutely fucking baked?
clock tower affair.
You have to meet them on their own plane, just like the spirit.
Why did I get the second hand? Chunk.
Because of course it would. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Are you headed straight there? Are you taking anything in? Are you looking for anything in particular, or are you headed straight back to that
Making
other
sure
curtain?
I know my path to the stern.
Mm-hmm. You didn't notice an exit, or an entrance rather, when you were at the stern.
Yeah.
You noticed, like, this is the door that you came in. You didn't
Yeah.
notice if there was one at the aft of this chamber. Doesn't mean there isn't one,
Okay.
just that you have not yet spotted one. You could go and hunt for one, certainly, if you wanted to see if there was a way out, but you don't have to.
I can hunt, for one.
Oh, you can hunt if you want to.
Sure, I'll check the exits.
I don't know.
I'm just kind of curious, though.
Yeah.
What kind of a devil's bargain would you give me for this hunt?
I would offer you, you would get an extra die to be able to better find out what kind of entrance or egress there is, from this pleasure dome.
If.
Got those 6s up, I like that. What I would give you in return, Zane,
I thought you were giving me the die.
No, I'm giving you the die. Sorry, yes. What you would give me, or what the other thing I'm going to kind of offer to you here, is unintended offense. As you move by somebody, you're going to unintentionally offend someone. Now, yeah, exactly. You're going to crop dust them on the way by. No, come on. Like, come on. Go back to your... I'm just kidding.
She's talking to a spirit.
What I'd like to suggest is that as you are hunting, if you take this devil's bargain, you will find yourself in a position where you unfortunately have to make a rival of somebody on the ship who would belong to a gang that you know, or that you have dealings with already. I'm leaving it deliberately vague because I'm specifically for the audience that I want to be like, this gang would take -1 status with you. You would earn a rival.
That's a little too much.
Okay.
I will push myself instead. I'll take two stress.
You bet. Doesn't count.
Say!
5s.
Okay. Love it.
Right.
As you hunt through the space, there doesn't seem to be a lot of oversight here. The term pleasure barge seems to be being used quite liberally, right? There are, of course, employees, but drinks aren't even really being served. They're just kind of available. You're taking this information in as you move towards the stern of the ship. There is indeed a servant's quarters. There's like a room at the back, which would lead out to the aft. Now, why you didn't see that point of entry on your way in, perhaps the door is camouflaged on the outside, perhaps there's something else there. You get a tap on the shoulder as you're making your way back there. As you turn around, you're standing eye to eye with a young man. He's holding his violin. Can I help you?
Actually, you can. I'm going to indicate the bottle that I'm holding
Oh, hey, thanks.
in my hand.
He's gonna reach out for it immediately.
Clever.
What? It's thirsty work playing for all these. Never mind.
I'm going to very carefully open it, not so that it looks like I'm not
incredible.
breaching the seal.
Yep, sure.
Just one. Okay? This belongs to a client.
I won't tell if you won't.
I wouldn't.
He'll extend he'll grab a glass off of a nearby table, shake out the couple of drops of whatever was inside, and extend the glass towards you.
I mean, that's not. I was fully expecting him to just pull a swig off the bottle. I'll give him a splash. I'll carefully put the lid back on. You know what?
Mm.
I think you might be too good for this place.
I mean, that's not what my teacher says.
Listen,
Yeah.
there's a few places over in Akaros that I know really need violinists, and I'm gonna drop a completely false name.
Okay.
Just if you can find them. I don't even know if they're still alive. And then I'm gonna get the fuck
100%. The guy's face is just like working overtime here as he processes this information. Maybe this is his ticket out of here. But then there's a call from someone else who's playing like some sort of a woodwind instrument, like a clarinet.
Hey, I need my string quartet.
Yeah.
Get the fuck over here.
He's like, hey, come on. Yeah, exactly. He's just like, another round. And the guy goes back up.
I'm gonna distribute this information.
Mm-hmm.
Where the stern is.
Yes, of course, yeah. Well, as you meet up with Morian, or should I say Morrigan, there are, as I mentioned before, there's curtains essentially cordoning off different sections. They're very thick tapestries, which would, again, muffle some of the noise, if not the pervasive purple haze.
And we indeed have many tapestries.
People are certainly enjoying themselves out here. A number of the curtains are open, revealing that there's nobody in some of the rooms, but that they're available. Say it's like one of them situations. But the fourth one on the left, the one that was indicated, the tapestry is currently closed. Of course, like naturally, right? Because
Yeah.
you believe there's someone in there.
I'm gonna set myself up, like, behind.
So they are curtains. There's no thing to knock on.
No, that's correct.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like a big old tapestry.
Oh, just swipe it open.
Yep. I'm gonna hastily draw it open and close behind me.
Okay.
What?
And take, I guess, a second to see what's in the room and like walk in with confidence.
This is, I mean, let's be real. Like, it's a pleasure barge. I don't need to be euphemistic. This is, for lack of a better words, a brothel, right? Like,
Yep.
it's... Currently, there is a person reclining on a bed that has about 25 pillows of various sizes.
Nice.
They have draped around their shoulders a magnificent cloak of black... exactly,
Boincast.
Generous and Boincast. A magnificent cloak of black feathers that seems to gleam a little in the low light. There's a number of candles set up You can't, for the moment, see this person beyond the fact that they're reclining on the bed. It's not kind of clear what exactly they're up to. There is indeed someone standing off to the side, watching, and she turns her head to you. Oh, reinforcements? And she winks.
You, and I give a quick nod and I turn towards the Magpie. You are in deep trouble. I stride forward.
Okay.
Amazing.
This person, I should point out, the Magpie's not, I think I maybe was a bit ungenerous with the description before. This person is relatively attractive and is certainly very relaxed at the moment. And from under hooded eyelids kind of goes, huh? As they look up.
Oh yeah, that's attractive.
That's why I prefaced it with
Me on a Monday
attractive.
morning.
You've been
That's why I prefaced it.
very, very naughty.
They immediately
Iconic.
I mean, I'm loving it, guys.
Living
This is
legend.
incredible. Absolutely.
Oh my god.
They sit up further in the bed, and all of a sudden you can see that their hands are indeed chained to either side.
Good.
They look over to the other woman, and she's just kind of looking at you like, I don't know you, but I'm not sure I'm going to say anything yet.
I'm going to continue to approach, if
Okay.
not stopped, and lean very close.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know what you've been up to. And lean back with a satisfied smile.
Their eyes go a little wide, and they look over to the other woman who's in the room. Hey, give us a second, would you? At which point the other woman's just like, okay, and starts heading towards the tapestry door.
I'm standing out there holding the bottle and just being like, I'm waiting for my turn.
The tapestry flips open, and this woman doesn't run into you, obviously, but it's just like, oh, and kind of quirks ahead and looks down at the bottle. Oh, okay. This is one of those special VIP situations, is that it? Nobody thought to tell me?
It's amazing that people don't know.
Yeah. You going in or what?
She has to make an entrance first. When he starts crying,
They.
they start crying. Oh man.
The woman nods in understanding and sort of steps away. I'm gonna go back briefly to Waif. Waif. Attuning to the... You have indeed fended off. It wouldn't be particularly interesting to play out because you did super well on your roll. You did indeed fend off some questions from an impressionable young bosun who came by and was just like, well, what are you doing here, miss? Through a combination of feeling like you must belong and the off-putting nature of who you are, you sent them on their way quite well. However, sitting here with eyes closed, there is a certain amount of attuning to the ghost field that is actually happening. There is a presence near you, above you and behind you. It's not immediately clear what it is, but there's something here that perhaps should not be. You feel this presence dipping and diving and then being pulled back down underneath the river. There's a feeling of helplessness, and that feeling of a presence is joined by several more calling out to you from the river below the Silver Sun Pleasure Barge.
Are you all right?
There's no answer directly. There's no answer.
I open my eyes just a crack because I'm really afraid of breaking the connection, and I go to lean over the side of the ship to where they're being pulled down.
Don't see anything.
Is there something I can do to help you?
The words come back crystal clear once, and then the connection is severed. Save us. And we'll go back inside the Silver Sun pleasure barge. The Magpie is chained, as I mentioned, to the bed. The person with the key presumably has walked away. Now, she might have also left it behind. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. The Magpie looks at you with wide eyes and just kind of goes, "Oh, I've done something naughty, have I? What kind of something?" And it's just like shifting under the covers.
I'm going to sit down on the bed, like on the edge of the bed, not too close, not too far. That was a mistake.
What do you mean? I've done something that's a
I'm
mistake.
going to drop all pretenses here. You have been discovered by the ciphers. This
I'm keeping an
isn't
eye out.
a story for your pleasure. This is a fact for your information. You need to leave town tonight, or they will sink you in the morning.
Ciphers? They don't have any power in this town. What are they gonna do? Carry a message to me?
I am the message.
I'm honestly terrified. In that moment, I was like, whoa. What are you trying to do? I mean, again, I get the sense that there's like some intimidation happening here, perhaps.
Yeah. I would prefer to be consorting.
It could be, these are all very broad terms.
Yeah. In that, my intent is, here's the situation, leave town tonight. Otherwise, you're going to be dead tomorrow, sort of. That's the story. So it definitely is more of a, I'm trying to do it in a consorting way.
Yeah, I'm gonna suggest that the effect of consorting would be limited, just because of how consorting works. This does feel like a swaying action, more right? Like you're trying to like, "Whoa." Now, which is perhaps going to have great effect. What I can say then is, if oh man, sorry, I'm just realizing that 4 track clock didn't. It was to find.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh,
I was looking at it. I was like, oh, I hope I have the right person.
Quick, we'll fill it in. Bam! We did it, everyone.
We did it.
Congratulations.
We found the Magpie.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Thelia. Welcome. I do feel like swaying could potentially have a much greater effect.
Is there a way to do a thing that you don't have any dots in?
Yes. Having 0 dots allows you to roll 2 dice and keep the lower result.
Call me in.
You can, of course, ask for assistance, push yourself, get a devil's bargain, whatever you desire. There are ways of doing this.
Bottle service.
Hot.
I'm going to try to do the same move.
Okay.
I'm going to whip open the curtain, but whip it closed right behind me, the exact same way I saw Thistle do it.
Okay. That seems doable.
And then
Who the hell is this?
I'm going to walk over and I'm just going to very carefully put the bottle in Morrigan's hands because she deserves it.
It's hers after all, right? What the hell is going on?
Double trouble.
The ciphers already have your number. This is unfortunate for you. What I can tell you is that you're being offered a choice. On the one hand, you could find yourself tonight finding out truly what happens at the bottom of this river. Or you can leave. You look me dead in the eyes and you tell me that you'll escape these chains, never to be seen in Doskvol again.
The Magpie's lips are like chapped and there's some tears forming in their eyes.
We can assist you with a lift to the docks. We'd rather not line these murky waters any further than they have been.
You wouldn't kill me.
Look at her. Does that look like the sort of person who messes around with people like you?
I don't think you know what you're talking about.
I think you know exactly what we're talking about. You are the journalist. How many
I-
of these stories end well?
There's a degree of recognition, like, holy shit, yeah, that's true for sure.
I'm going to drop the name of the very kind desk man at the journalist.
Oh, the desk man.
He was so kind. It was so easy to get into your office despite the little gizmo you had. Trying to keep it safe.
I try to protect.
There's evidence beyond just the fact that the ciphers found you out. Please, take our lift. Go on a nice pleasure cruise in the beautiful evening air. And a beautiful cruise to a new horizon.
All right. Let me make sure I have this straight. You're going to provide me passage out of here, back to the docks, and then I disappear and never come back. Is that right? You weren't the least bit curious what I managed to find from the ciphers, are you?
They know.
And we don't care. Like I said, you have two choices. I would really recommend trying the second. After all, starting over isn't so bad. I've done it before.
If people cared what you had to say, you certainly wouldn't be working for the Dark Eye.
That hits. It looks like they've been punched in the genitals. Just like oh, why? My work, you know.
What
Right.
would it be?
I think this is now an action that is being worked on two ends. If you catch my, doesn't matter. Let's cheers. How would you like to? This is definitely.
I'm attempting to sway him.
You're attempting to sway.
And
This
I'm
is
trying to do the construct
absolutely,
side.
yeah.
Back
Okay.
up, sort of, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but you're providing assistance. So if you would like to take one stress to provide +1 die, you may do so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a controlled action. You're both very much in control at the moment. It's got potentially great effect.
5.
The Magpie blinks a number of times and then says, "All right, I'll do it. Just get me out of here, please. I don't want them coming after me."
Excellent.
Now, did the madam leave with your key, or is this one of those safe games where you know where the key is?
Their eyes cast over to the table near the bottle. Yeah, underneath, exactly.
And I'm gonna actually hand the keys to Zane, button up my coat, and pop out my palm pistol.
Oh.
And, stay a distance away.
Oh shit. Okay.
Would you prefer that to be for your protection or for our insurance?
No, my protection would be just fine. Yes, I
Excellent.
think we can do that.
Look at me.
Mm.
The instant that we see that you're hesitating, you become far more valuable to us, Dad. Okay? And that's when I'm going to unlock.
We get paid out of it.
Right. Didn't think I was making that kind of enemy today.
We're not your enemy. We're here to save your life.
Of course you are. Just trying to. Thank you very much for the follow. Garaka. It's probably not what it is, but it's great. Welcome and thank you. The Magpie is sweating profusely, terrified, obviously, and keeps their eyes trained as much as possible on the palm pistol, knowing that at this range it still packs a punch. I mean, it's not gonna blow anyone's head off, but it's gonna do some damage.
It's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt, and the Magpie starts to sort of step towards the curtain again, and then turns back desperately and extends their hands towards the both of you. What I'm working on. Who told you to do this? Who told you to find me?
That sounds like hesitating to me.
You wouldn't.
Sounds like you're trying to gather information so that you can come back here. I promise you, if you are ever found on these lands again,
Right.
you will not be found.
Don't take this as manipulation. Take this as what it is, an honest tip. And I know tips.
Thank you.
I'm gonna turn around and start walking out of the room.
Just be careful where you get your information.
You should have been warned.
It's really going to be tragic if he has to meet Waif. They have to meet Waif.
There's like a shiver with the name Waif, just cause.
I tilt my head towards the door, as in I will follow them from behind.
Magpie starts to head towards the tapestry flat.
I will very friendly put my arm around them,
Oh.
slip the gun into their pocket, and really poke it into their lower abdomen.
Yikes! Oh, I mean, that is brutal. Britsky.
So, darling, we're gonna go take this little cruise elsewhere.
The madam who you saw earlier out at the bow, has come back in. The cigarette is gone, replaced with a friendly but thin smile, and she sees you coming out of this room with the Magpie and with Morian, with Thistle. She folds her arms across her chest and stares at you. You taking him somewhere?
I'm just gonna nod. I don't have any need to elaborate.
She takes a step closer and kind of gets up in your face a little bit. You don't know how things work around here, do you, dear? Nobody leaves the Silver Sun Pleasure Barge until they're satisfied, and when they're satisfied, they don't need us anymore.
I'm gonna take a glance back
Okay?
at the Magpie.
Okay?
Look at them, just with that same sort of glance that I was giving them earlier when I was giving them the option. Oh, but you're not satisfied until you get a chance to take a walk, are you?
Just getting some air, the Magpie says. It comes out a little rough around the edges. There's an edge of fear, for sure.
Yes, you've been so naughty, but it's true that you can't keep gasping with pleasure until you have a bit of fresh air in your lungs, can you?
That's exactly right.
You can't scream at full capacity
Oh my.
unless you've had a moment to clear your head. And you do like to scream, don't you, darling?
They nod their head several times and looks at the madam. She's going to... Okay, so she nods. All right, that sounds good. I just want to make sure that any new employees don't take anyone for a ride where they're not supposed to. I'll come with you. And she offers her arm to you, Zane.
I'll offer the crook of my elbow.
Great. So she will accompany you out of the Silver Sun Pleasure Barge, out onto the bow. It is indeed fresh air. The night is crisp and cool. The moon is almost full. It's a lovely night. How are you going to... the plan is to get the Magpie off the boat, I believe.
We're going to the stern.
Okay.
Where
Waif
waits.
was, I believe, sitting cross-legged on the deck, communing with spirits. You see coming towards you, Zane is arm in arm with a very heavily made up but beautiful woman. Behind the two of them, Morian is hand in pocket with the person who is described as the Magpie, who looks, to your somewhat practiced eye, Waif, terrified.
There are spirits here and they're very distressed.
Sweet Jesus. The madam is immediately like, what? Who is this?
I was sent here to ascertain the presence of spirits, and I can confirm that there are spirits here and they need help.
I told you you'd scream at here. And I'm trying to project this so that the madam hears me.
The madam definitely hears it. So too does the Magpie, who is now starting to shiver with fear.
There.
The madam unlinks arms and walks up to you.
Who do you think you are?
There are
coming-
individuals here with terrible, terrible, painful pasts.
Of course there are. That's why they're on the Silver Sun pleasure barge, darling.
Somebody died in a horrible way here.
Now that's just hearsay, and I will not have you repeating it.
Who was it?
She takes a step towards you and reaches into. She reaches behind her into a pocket on the back of her bustier.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Whoop! What are you trying to do?
Say something.
I'm giving up on you.
Yep.
I'd like to take this distraction to guide the Magpie, since we were behind them anyway, to the other corner of this region and
Okay.
whistle off the side of the barge.
Okay. The madam is indeed distracted by the potentially
Fucking
threatening,
creepy
wild
little
woman in front of her.
Thank you.
The gondolier is coming. But she's got her hand reached around behind her. But
I'm
she
here to help.
I don't think you are.
I am. I won't tell anybody. But I'm trying to know who they are. They're very upset.
Nobody's died on this ship, and I don't remember anyone asking you to be here. In fact, if I had to guess, I'd say you were a stowaway.
I don't think so. I haven't been hiding. I've just been sitting here.
She turns her head back towards Zane. Throw this one overboard.
Of course. How far is the gondolier away from us?
Let's say like 50 meters.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up to. Are the rivers infested like the surrounding kind of sea around Doskvol?
No, the lightning fields theoretically keep things out. Now, I mean, the canals, as you've seen, there are angry spirits that populate them, at least from time to time. But they're not, and they're fished. There's animals in them. They can't be all bad, right? They're not infested in the same way, no.
All right, I'm gonna walk up straight up to Waif. I'm gonna plant my hand in her chest and shove her over the side.
Oh, okay, great.
What do you...
So are you resisting this at all?
I
or-
wasn't expecting it. He's my friend. He would never push me. And then
Your
he-
friend would never
This
push
is
you.
just like the greenhouse affair.
Well, you pushed me into that giant Venus flytrap. Good times. This
Just like one hand right
Yeah.
in the sternum.
This does
Like
not.
it's actually as gentle a push as I can give her while looking like I was shoving.
Okay, so this does not require a roll, at least on my end. I feel like this is something that is easily accomplished
Okay,
and
so
is
easy.
doable.
But I'm gonna turn to her. I'm gonna turn
tell
to
me,
her.
yeah.
Annie, the truth of all of this is that we're trying to protect the barge.
I thought you said you were new here.
I am new here, but I don't belong here. It would seem that there is more than one person here who shouldn't be here.
You traitor.
No. I'm removing somebody who could potentially threaten the barge with no need to see innocent people and their clients suffer because of one person. You do know that this is an investigative journalist. You do know that this person is currently being hunted at this very moment by the most scurrilous of gangs.
Annie does not seem particularly swayed by this.
Well,
We don't.
cool, 'cause I do
I
have
guess we're gonna
sway.
find out, eh?
Time to find out.
But
well,
she,
we'll continue
no,
playing
no,
this
for
game.
sure. She sort of narrows her eyes. We don't ask who people are. That's the brilliant part of the Silver Sun Pleasure Barge. You can be whoever you want.
And therefore, you'll let anyone, even perhaps bluecoats, on here?
If their money is good.
Theirs isn't. They're about to blow everything wide open. And I can tell you that there are those hunting for them right now and wouldn't even hesitate to destroy the boat, let alone just them.
Impossible.
No?
It's impossible.
I got on board.
Of course you did. Anyone is allowed. Anybody is allowed. No one would sink this barge just for the sake of one pathetic muckraker.
So I'm gonna look over the side.
Yeah.
You don't happen to have any like explosives
Oh.
when you do?
Totally. So one thing that I wasn't aware before is I don't know if I have to spend actions to craft my bandolier like alchemicals or not. If so, then
like in downtime or whatever?
yeah, like that's it. It's not here.
No, I don't think you do. I think
Okay.
because
There's a crafting section in the book that's like about distilling things and creations,
That's
and
if
I
you
don't
need to
know.
create more, right?
Okay.
I would say that yes, you have access to some. I think at a certain point, which we will define in downtime here, you may need to make more.
I'm thinking standstill poison could be really good with my little blowgun. Or no, my bandolier.
So what I'm looking for is some evidence that you had the ability to sink the barge.
Oh, 1,000%. I can quite easily be carrying my demolition tools. So if you look over, I'm holding up like a charge.
Okay.
I mean, it's all wet now. I know that doesn't actually matter, but maybe
Not the
she
way I
doesn't.
make them.
I don't know if Annie does necessarily. We're gonna come back to you in a moment because we're gonna have to roll for you.
Treading water.
Well, we're gonna have to roll
Shit
for
over.
you treading water in the Dusk River, which is probably
But
not
my
too
spirit
bad.
friends will keep me afloat.
Yeah, okay.
Aw.
We'll talk about that
Balls.
momentarily. So Annie kind of looks as well over the side. One crazed woman?
So you're just going to come up with an excuse every time I tell you things. Oh, no one could possibly sink this boat. Now it's, oh, one crazed woman. Where does it end, Annie? I'm here to save your life. I already told you this. I shoved her overboard. And they're getting taken away.
It sounds to me like you're taking a valuable target off of my pleasure barge.
It sounds to me like you're being very ungrateful
For the danger that you've brought here.
for the danger I'm removing.
You're stealing a client.
Okay, you forced us to break the ruse. My client has paid very good money for this kidnap fantasy, and you are spoiling it.
Oh, fuck.
Guys,
Annie,
I love this.
Annie withdraws her hand to show you that she is indeed packing. It is also a relatively small sort of derringer, but it looks like it could do damage. Nobody's going anywhere until we dock, and you can tell everything that you told me to the Bluecoats.
How loud are the engines?
Relatively.
Do I shove her over the end? You can just drown her.
Oh, totally.
Jesus Christ.
I could inject her with my standstill poison, paralyze her, and she'd sink beneath the waves.
It's horrible.
Awful. It's awful.
I would like
Yes.
to, with the hand that's not in the pocket, reach into my coat and withdraw documents,
Oh, documents. Okay.
which I
Documents.
prepared, which definitely are forged for sure.
Sure, yeah, that's
But it's a series of legal documents involving consent, giving and the I consent to this evening of pleasure with Morgan Dangerfield. I consent to whatever they deem is required for me to reach that which I have requested. It seems like it's the kind of template that this dom would carry and have her clients sign so that they could not come back at her for going to the extents that they want her to go.
Unbelievable.
Okay. All right.
I'm willing to make this
Unbelievable.
I do like that this is.
desperate action.
I think this is going to be your this is.
Morgan Dangerfield.
I mean, Dangerfield is the name, and Dangerfield is the game.
Oh my god.
This. Okay. Yes, She probably won't buy it for any length of time. But how much time do you really need? What you're trying to sell her long enough to be able to get off the boat?
Mhm.
Backup plan? Shove her over the side and drown her. Yeah. Is that the-
Backup plan. Boom boom.
Oh, that is a backup plan.
Sure, why not?
I mean, I'm very happy to kill her because she knows
Too much.
she knows too much, and she's unfortunately we've now changed stories on her like 4 times.
This is correct.
So I don't think she'll believe us for anything. But we'll see if your thing works. But
No.
we'll see if your thing works, and if it doesn't, then I'm gonna suggest we try to kill her. Not that we're good at that, but
No.
This is going to be indeed a desperate roll. I leave it to the player to tell me what sort of roll this is. I have a thought on the subject because you are attempting to do something with this documentation.
Yeah, and I don't have any
yeah.
of that, so I could just not do any of that and let Zane keep doing what he was doing and not have come in and
no, but
stop
you've got the
this time.
document. I can help.
I'm liking
That'll
it.
help with the sway,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have any sway.
but I do.
Yeah.
So help me out by
Great,
having the
I'm
document.
assisting your sway
Yeah.
This
to
is
get her to whatever you were trying
Is
to
it a
convince
desperate action? Because
Yeah.
that's my bread and butter.
Can I help by looking threatening in the water?
Then can that have been a foresight action, one of my 2 times for story?
Of course, yeah. absolutely.
Great.
We can use this.
I am
Or you can use the
assisting.
second one rather. He doesn't get another die, but yes, we're gonna say that you're looking threatening with your tangled mass of weed hair in the water. Awful. I love it. Okay, Zane. This is indeed a desperate action. I will tell you that if she does not necessarily buy this story immediately, she will shoot you.
Cool. Ready?
Yep.
The Zane of the game.
6. The first the whole fucking session. 6544 to be precise.
Yeah, good pull.
I gotta give it to a good pool, even though I realize it's the highest result that pays out here.
Well, it also means that if I tried to resist the consequences of this, I get one fewer die to it.
If you had fucked up, essentially.
If I'd fucked up, so I take my risks.
Yep. No, that is the idea for sure. Annie blinks once, twice, and then steps back away from the edge of the barge. Just never come back. Get the hell out of here and never come back.
I'm sorry for the trouble they've caused you this evening.
If that's the most gratitude I'll get, I'll take it.
We get less if you don't get out of here right now.
Have a pleasant evening, Annie.
Don't tell anyone about this.
Good.
I
won't have
turn
to
back
tell you the same.
towards the Magpie. No, we're gonna make sure that we get a very pretty penny out of your benefactors, aren't we, darling? They can't take you away for just nothing. Now.
Magpie seems to have lost
Yeah,
the ability to speak,
yeah.
potentially.
Trying to go back to the
Where's that gondolier?
game.
The gondolier has indeed pulled up alongside in this moment, and Annie's eyes widen as she sees like the scarecrow skeletal figure kind of reach out to offer a hand to get people onto the gondola.
I pop up beside the.
Oh, Jesus!
Hello.
There's a brief moment where he thinks you might be a spirit, but then you're not, so it's okay. Are you climbing?
Does he help me in? Probably doesn't, does he? Doesn't. We don't like each other very
Definitely
much.
doesn't look like he's going to help you.
I try to clamber on, jostling the boat as much as possible because I'm
You try
a
to
petulant child.
Clamber.
Clambergate.
Say Clambergate.
There arose such a clamor.
There it is.
And then we're going to let her down like the down of a thistle.
Oh.
Very nice.
Sort of floats down onto the ship. Onto the gondola.
I let Magpie descend first,
Mhm.
and then
Are they shaking like a bowl full of jelly?
And shaking something like a bowl full of jelly. Yes, they're absolutely terrified. Yeah, correct. And they sit down and kind of like huddle their knees up to their chest. All right, I'll do it. I'll just leave Doskvol.
Quiet.
Okay.
I'm frantically. I mean, I don't think it's going to help any more, but I'm trying to get one more message from the spirits. I'm very worried about them. If we're not allowed to come back to the barge, that means I can't help them.
Oh
want
yeah,
to
because
try
we
to-
never do things we're not allowed to do.
So you want to try to attune very quickly, like
I just
try
if
to
there's
reach out
anything
to
else
them?
I can do to help them from a distance, like, and then come back if they're looking for something. If they're
Ooh, thanks, Brazinga. What? Oh, the quote from
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
classic speaks of silence.
I think if you want to try to attune to ask them a question, you can desperately attempt to attune to the ghost field. Obviously, the consequences of trying to attune too quickly could be dangerous.
We're right at the end of our take. I'll come back. I'll come back to this area and
This
try
could be
to.
a very good downtime event, right?
Yeah.
Like, if this is something you
So
want
I'm going to make a
try to
note.
find out.
I'm going to
Absolutely.
dig into this mystery some.
The gondolier pushes away. Hang on. Here we go. The gondolier pushes away from the pleasure barge, where the music continues to pipe out, as does the strange little purple smoke, and rows you back north into Charter Hall and towards Six Towers, where you dock. The gondolier graciously sweeps his hat. As always, a pleasure doing business with some of you. And lets you disembark. The Magpie seems to be having trouble walking, just because of the ordeal. But will make their way off the ship. How am I supposed to live?
That's the amazing thing. You get a chance to find out.
You are clever. As much as I may disparage your writings here, you have a chance to start anew. And be careful. More careful than you are.
Can I at least have anything from my Did you take anything from my office? Anything so I can remember my previous work?
No, you cannot have anything of the evidence that you collected.
A word of
It's
advice.
worth a shot. Yeah?
You write about murders very gruesomely, and the spirits don't like it very much. I would take on a more optimistic tone.
No, we don't want them writing ever again. That was the whole point.
Oh, right.
No,
Never mind then.
Yeah, I thought it was here.
Yeah, that was in
Which one
Doskvol.
was it? I don't remember.
When you're writing poetry alone on a mountaintop,
Yeah, there we go.
think of the ghosts.
The instructions were to make sure that the Magpie never writes again.
Oh, never writes again. Okay, then I would have said many
Oh, no,
different
or
things
just like-
throughout the.
Oh, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah, sorry.
Moving on, exactly. The Magpie kind of turns up the collar of their coat against the chill night air. Well, coat thing. I'll try to keep that in mind. No one happens to have a spare spirit charm, do they? Looking around and kind of chattering through teeth.
I find it lovely that you think that we owe you even more than what we've already given you.
An opportunity. Right. You'll never hear from me again. And they vanish down a small alleyway.
That's a neat trick.
Bye.
They walk off down the
I was doing that.
If you want to go look, you can see that they're walking down the alleyway, crying softly to themselves.
I'm gonna flick a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bit. It's gotta be more than a bit. How much should I tip
I don't know.
fucking Gary?
Less than a
If you're-
coin
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a coin
is
is...
like a month's wages or something, right? It's like a significant amount of money.
Yeah, 4 coin is like a very significant take, right? It'd be like a strong box worth of jewels, but no.
I already gave him something. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
you gave him your
Yeah.
Spirit charm,
Spirit
right? The gondolier again sort of doffs his hat and bows to you. Is there anything I should report?
It's always a pleasure working with the gondoliers.
As soon as we collect our payment, yours be forthcoming, as the gondoliers have experienced in the past with our exchanges.
And I hope that, much like us, you won't be late, as we are never late.
You would hate that.
Truly a wizard of your craft.
There's a sly smile, and then the hat goes back on, obscuring most of his face. And the gondola pushes off once again down the canal, north into the city towards Brightstone.
Sucking on my titties like you wanted me,
Myriadoc.
Yes! Oh,
In their galoshes.
Would you be reporting this back to Salia first, or would you be going back to the three-legged goat? Like, generally speaking, what's the plan? Salia, of course, was the
Yeah. I'm just wondering. Yeah, it's like the middle of the night, so I don't know whether it's worth waiting.
It's always the middle of the night, but
Yeah, but like the middle of the time when most people sleep or whatever.
Yes, Salia is an information broker, but she also sleeps.
Yeah.
She's also a human being.
So I figure we'd take a quick crash and go to Salia's first thing in the morning.
Great.
sounds good to me.
That would allow you to sort of turn in this score. You don't necessarily have proof that this has succeeded, other than the fragments of document from the Magpie's office. But hopefully Salia will.
I mean, we
Salia
also
will
could
believe
have
you.
just straight up murdered
Yeah, I mean,
the
like-
Magpie.
That's correct, and you
So
probably wouldn't
my
have.
alternative would have been
Oh, no.
ask the gondolier to bring them to the docks, which is what I thought we were doing. But that's
honor among
I'm fine. We
thieves.
don't need to play that out.
Oh, no, of course.
Or follow them.
Maybe we do have to go right away. I mean, Salia probably can't sleep now that she has like a gigantic glowing exclamation mark above her head because we have a quest to turn in.
No. It's perfectly valid that it would be the next thing to do. Crashing out sounds pretty good. If you're headed back to your lair, does anyone want to remind or tell the chat rather where is your lair located, or what do you know about it at this point?
We hang out in the back room of an inn called the Three-Legged Goat. So it is correct.
Yeah.
Nice. It is run by a Mrs. Ward, who's lovely, and yeah. So we actually have like bunks and stuff in a back room where we can crash if we need to. So it's a fabulous little place in an area of 6 towers.
Exactly.
Called the Teeth, yeah.
Called the Teeth. Exactly. 6 Towers being one of the older neighborhoods of Doskvol, once grand, now crumbled into decay. Many people try to avoid it as much as possible, given the potential for hauntings and the potential for crime.
Great.
You
#crimes.
do not. The Three-Legged Goat does indeed stand sort of slightly askew off of the street in the Teeth. Now, Three-Legged Goat it's not a big tavern or anything, but it's usually somewhat well populated. When you return, it is deathly quiet. And as you enter, in order to head back towards your lair, Mrs. Ward is not behind the bar. Pinned to the bar with a dagger is a note which says, "We are coming for you." There
Oh,
is
you did just leave a pleasure barge,
there is an etching of a mask. This mask, if I had to just briefly describe it, it's sort of a porcelain. It's like a porcelain sort of full face mask, but with goggles obscuring the eyes.
Oh, goggles obscuring the eyes.
Yeah.
So it's not the Wraiths.
Perhaps it is.
It might be the Wraiths. I mean, I assume that we'd recognize the Wraith symbol.
Because
We've tangled with them before.
Yeah.
Did not go so well.
this is correct. You would recognize this as a mask of the Wraiths.
And it's we're coming for you?
Exactly.
So they know where our hideout is.
No. I mean, they know that you've spent time here at the Three-Legged.
I guess that's fair.
But not necessarily. I will assuage your fears that when you go back into the lair proper, it is undisturbed.
Because our lair is hidden very
Yes,
deeply.
correct. Yes, and it cannot be found in this way.
Okay.
But Mrs. Ward is nowhere to be found in the Three-Legged Goat.
No.
The note is there, and I think we'll end the session here. That's all I wanted to say. And back to there. Okay.
Fucker.
Green card. Oh no. Oh. Okay. So this brings us to the end of our first session. Now, as we have done in many campaigns so far, we normally do, we have some questions and some experience to award. There is, of course, in Blades in the Dark, there is a whole section on downtime, payoff, and so on. As we've mentioned before, we're going to be doing something a little different. some of the downtime is going to be handled off stream. And I'm going to come back to this thought briefly to mention to Kalaka. Kalaka, we use safety cards here on RPGClinic, which have very specific meanings. Whoa, that's a great idea. Pow. The green card is the play card, which means I feel safe to continue IC even if I don't seem it. So we're all sad about Mrs. Ward's disappearance, perhaps, but we're also doing okay.
Kate, the player, sorry for hitting the microphone. I, Kate, the player, am not upset with Scott for putting us in this situation, even if my character is very upset with the situation.
With the circumstances.
Yeah,
It's kind of like a shorthand to be like, we're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, thank you, Toast. Lovely.
you,
So many resubscriptions tonight and bits and so on. Thank you all very much. It's really, really, really kind of you to support the channel in this way. As I mentioned, we're going to be trying some of our downtime off stream. If you want to know what some of that downtime looks like, join us on our Discord, where we will be posting information about that. Now, I'm leaving it deliberately open because we are going to talk amongst ourselves how much of the sort of nitty-gritty are we going to be posting there.
Yeah.
But do join our Discord anyway because it's a cool place to hang out. So that's normally what happens. However, I would love to do experience on stream. I think that'd be really cool. We have individual tracks and we have a crew track. So, that's a good point, Kung Fu Fenris, I suppose. Let's jump in and see how we feel we did. First of all, for individual XP, if people rolled desperately, they get to mark a point on that track.
Took care of that.
Which
Don't
you
worry.
already did, which is good. Individual playbooks have a specific trigger. I think they're at the bottom of that sheet here. I don't have them offhand, but we'll
They're
go
on ours.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
the bottom of the
great.
gray section.
I'll start with Liz. Liz, do you feel like your playbook trigger happened?
I do, yeah. I think I expressed a belief, drives, heritage, or background.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. Am I looking at the wrong thing?
That's another XP trigger, but the one
Okay.
before that, I think it's your leech one specifically. I don't.
Oh,
It's
this one.
like
You
solving a problem.
you addressed a challenge with technical skill or mayhem, which I don't think I did.
You did address us. Yeah. Okay.
I think I did
Addressed
the other
challenge.
ones on my list, but not necessarily technical skills and mayhem.
Okay. The XP does indeed go back to the players, so like I'm not gonna tell you whether you get XP or not. That sounds cool, but you feel like you expressed your beliefs, drive, or heritage.
Yeah, well, you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background, and then there's also you struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during the session. Considering my vice is weird. Maybe,
Yeah.
but at least I did express my beliefs.
Okay, yeah. Well, you can take
So-
2 XP.
Okay, thank you.
John, I'll move over to you.
Did I address a challenge with stealth or evasion? Feel like I did.
Feel like you
Used
did.
prowl a whole bunch, so I'm going to mark an XP for that. Did I express my beliefs, drive, heritage, or background? Honestly, today, not so much. Don't feel like I did that. But when it says you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas during the session, I did give Annie my real name because I wanted to boast.
Yeah, talk to me about your vice briefly.
My vice, so my vice technically is luxury.
Right, sure.
Because I like to go to the Centralia Club and boast about my exploits.
Absolutely unbelievable.
So I'm wondering whether I need to sort of, because it seems like it's more the boasting than it is the luxury. So I'm wondering whether I need to figure out a different specific.
Yeah, the heading isn't so important, right? Like I think for me it's about the individual, the granular, like what is the vice that you're
I
indulging.
mean, we have the Centralia Club because also if somebody wanted to fuck with me, they could screw with the
go
club,
there,
and then
yeah.
I wouldn't have a place to be like, but that's where I tell everybody how awesome we are.
That's it, because it's not like you're just going to go to a bar on the street corner and be like, hey, you ever heard of me, Zane? I don't remember
So
your names.
I'm wondering whether I can mark XP specifically for, because I didn't have to give my real name, and I totally
You
did.
absolutely
on purpose.
did, and Annie is still alive. So there's that. So that's again, I believe, 2 XP I counted plus the
Yeah.
desperate.
Because I'm not going to say that I addressed a challenge with self evasion more than once. So
No, yeah. It comes up a whole.
not
bunch.
really. If it was like a bunch, then I would.
Right.
But
We'll see how that.
Chad is suggesting that maybe I did try to be skillful
okay.
with mayhem.
Well, the technical
Yeah.
addressing of the.
What do we think of that?
The technical addressing of your
Getting into the office?
Getting into the office. That's the ticket, motion detector. What do you think?
I think yes, if we're counting that. So that means
also-
1 on the playbook?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if that doesn't count, I would probably vote some mayhem from any of your spirit-involved things. So I would, whatever that accumulates to one.
We'll definitely let
thank you.
Waif blow something up at some point. No, I mean,
Yeah.
spoilers, possibly.
What?
What about Morian here?
You address a challenge with calculation or conspiracy. I feel
fuck
like
yeah.
she definitely did.
Will I allow it?
And she expressed her beliefs, drives heritage or background, and I'm going to go with her
Defending my
background
speed.
as legal aid because she did a lot of legalese today.
Yes,
So
oh, yeah.
I would argue for 2 XP.
Great, that sounds perfect to me.
Great.
And remind me, your vice.
You can put it
Is
here.
You told me
I
about
have
it.
an obligation to a former
I
coworker.
get the feeling like I'm
Yes,
going to
that's right.
Which
put
I
it
have
here
not worked
instead
in
of
yet,
like the
but
grace period.
it's there.
I'm gonna ask
When you go and reduce stress, we'll establish that relationship because I think
Yeah.
it's going to be important.
Yeah.
John, yes, question? Thoughts, feelings? Are you good?
later on.
Later?
It's about the
Cool.
grace period.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
of course. No worries.
And then we have our group.
Correct.
which
So
I
the
think John also
crew
has.
also gets its own XP track.
Shadows.
The Shadows. So
Did we execute a successful espionage, sabotage, or theft operation?
Yeah, we did.
Espionage we did,
Espionage,
definitely.
yeah.
And
We-
theft.
we
We
stole
stole stuff
from-
at the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Good.
From the offices,
that's
yeah.
XP for
Did
sure.
we contend with challenges above our current station?
That's up to
I
you.
would say no. This is a singular reporter who is, bullyable. But there you go.
You know what all the little NPCs you introduce, how important or not important they are.
That's
so
it.
that's why we had to ask,
No,
right?
of course,
yeah.
of course.
Did we bolster our crew's reputation or develop a new one?
That's an interesting question. Your reputation currently is as daring, I believe.
Our reputation is daring.
Daring. Do you feel like that you've created a new reputation for your crew?
I feel like very shortly the ciphers are going to enjoy us.
That's true,
That's a good point.
but not.
But not well. No, this is good. You're definitely starting to develop a bit of a rep as well as the one who carries the weirdo as well.
Yeah.
I'm not. There's going to be
yeah.
a better way to express that, but like
Works for me.
as someone who meddles with dangerous affairs.
Yeah.
So yes, let's mark a tick there.
Finally, express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
What
we
is
were pretty us, whatever us is.
We were pretty us this session, it's true.
We definitely had a clear drive towards our success, but at the same time, I think we've also sort of established that we're a little bit of an oddball group.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'd say maybe
We do the weird
Absolutely.
stuff, you know?
There it is. Didn't we write that down somewhere? I feel like we wrote that down
Probably.
somewhere.
That's on
yeah.
our business card.
I think so. Yeah. Business cards are made of like spider webs
Yeah,
or something
yeah,
awful. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well,
Cool.
it's that's a bunch of XP marked down.
We might not necessarily do this at the end of every session, but I think it's useful to kind of look at, especially as it pertains to other systems in Blades in the Dark, which is like a more collaborative system. The players get to determine, how much of their XP did they earn. Oh, did we do this thing or did we not? Because sometimes you won't. Sometimes you do other stuff.
Right.
Awesome. We also do something here to make sure that we were learning. No, just to make sure that we were engaged and working alongside each other to create the best stories. No, I'll start at the other end. John, I'll never start with you. I will start with you at some point.
Ever.
Kate, I'm going to ask 2 questions. What did you learn, and would you like to highlight someone else's play?
I learned that I figured out how Spider consorts, where her comfort is, where it isn't, and that every time with Sway, it's like, quick, I need help, because as much as that's the direction that may be useful, like tactically, dice wise, it's definitely not actually where her strengths are. But I figured out where she can be comfortable consorting.
Awesome.
And I'd like to highlight, are we doing that now? Or
Yeah, please.
I'd love to highlight Liz. I think the moment I want to single out is just being like, yep, here's the necklace, because I could tell that it's Swade's got. But also, it's just like you are establishing that she wants to help spirits. That it's like a positive relationship. It's not just like, oh, they're interesting and creepy. Like, no, it's actually like a real connection. So it's nice that you're just like, oh, you want this?
Are they
There
maybe
you
a
go.
little misunderstood?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
but overall, the establishment of the
Thank you.
relationship.
Rock on. John, same 2 questions.
So I learned that because in our previous practice sessions, I failed a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
I failed a lot, and then I also took a lot of. I had to take a lot of stress to mitigate a lot of that failure or near failures. This session I didn't so much. So what I think I learned today is more about like, okay, so when things go right, I can push the envelope further because stress is a resource that I can spend. Yeah. And I was like, I still got lots of stress, so I don't mind pushing hard. I don't have to be conservative right now because I can afford it. And I felt like in the end, the dice at the very end of the session, they fell our way, so we got to enjoy the benefits of that. So I've learned that sometimes things don't always go so bad, and when it does, you can actually afford to stretch.
Absolutely. I love that.
Kate, I feel like today we got to really see what a spider does. Right? The instant shift into Morrigan Dangerfield. Right? Which is
really funny to me.
Which is it's great, but like I was having difficulty being like, well, what is a spider? Like sure, you can help get us stuff before the shit goes down, but what happens when the shit's actually going down?
Yeah.
And then like there it was. Oh, okay. There you go. Makes sense. And that and I loved that. I also love the fact that you seem to be able to intimidate Scott when
I was terrified
when things go down, which I'm like excellent.
Legendary.
I don't think I've had that aimed at me before, so it's like, whew, cool, thank you. Over to you, Liz. Same questions.
I mean, much like Kate, I feel like I started to sink into where my character fits, and in what John was saying, like the figuring out where the failures fit as well, like. A leech is supposed to be the one who shows up with the gadgets and like does cool sabotaging shit, but where I succeeded the most was in my weird spirit shit. And like I'm kind of into that because she fucked up her tinkering roll and then just was weird for the rest of the session, and that ended up being more effective. And I actually really like that as a strange dynamic for scores and stuff. And I didn't mind at all that she was sitting up at the stern while these two were doing it because I loved watching their scene, and then it also kind of made sense. Anyway, I love the dynamic there.
Yeah, again, like, I mean, you know, we're all relatively new to the system, but it feels to me like the playbooks are not meant to be rigid class definitions, right? Yeah. Like, there is a class, there's a playbook, the Whisper, who is an arcane adept, right? Like, that's their jam. But that doesn't mean that other people can't attune to things. That's how the action rating system works, right? And exactly, you're finding a way. If you're someone who practices medicine, well, you're probably also interested in the body and the soul, which definitely exists because spirits exist in this world, right? Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of adds to the the weird aura that we're creating around ourselves of like, you know. We're weird, and we have guns, and we have bombs, and we can sneak. Like, you know,
you can kind of do it all.
We're off-putting in that way, which I think is going to lend to our mystique. I want to highlight John because, oh my God, we got on the barge, and you were immediately like, "Where's the madam?" And you went right up to her, and you started weaving a yarn, and it was epic. It was so cool because we got to see your like. Nobility coming through, a lot of your bravado, and just it was very zane.
Honestly,
loved it.
That is going to be the new reputation as if not for sorry, if not for the spirits, if not for the crew, at least for Waif. Cool. Okay. Well, awesome.
Scott.
Yeah.
There's. I'm going to actually highlight the fact that at the very end, you were like, I'm not going to make this easy on you. Right? You planted the madam and made that kind of like, okay, well, now we have this to deal with. And then you didn't sort of be like, well, your role playing was good. Okay, she's going to like nod and be like, cool, and then walk away because it's the end of the first session. Whatever. Like, yeah, sometimes shit's going to go down. And I really did appreciate that sort of like, because it didn't feel unfair, right? It didn't feel like you were saying like, oh, well, you know, you took care of this already, but now she's back.
That's it, yeah.
Right? And that, I really do appreciate it because at the end I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, that was...
We did a thing.
Like, that was just smooth sailing all the way through, and then, fuck. Because so many bad things could have happened.
That's it.
Right there.
I do want to. I mean, as we continue, I think we're going to find a nice balance of desperate moments that don't go well and you suffer for them, versus controlled moments that go great and all of a sudden all the doors open to you, right? Like that's the life of a scoundrel isn't always unending shit. Sometimes you get a golden opportunity, and sometimes you don't, and you make the best. You do the best with what you have. You make the best of what you have. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. That's really cool. I think it was a lot of fun. What we also do usually at this point in the show is we talk about other things that are happening throughout the week, because of course RPG Clinic streams games on Sundays. At least now we do. But we have other things going on in our community throughout the week. Tuesday at 1800, that's November the 1st. Spooky. It's All Saints Day, I think.
Yes.
You can join, me over on twitch.tv/BiffTheBouse, where Paul Prospero, one of my characters, will be continuing his journey of the Quarry. We're having a great time with that. I really hope to have some more people out. I really like the game, technical issues aside, which I'm hoping to solve. Wednesday, John?
On Wednesday, I was streaming Cult of the Lamb. The cult has succeeded in its quest finally.
Yay!
I decided at the halfway through the stream, I was like, you know what, I really should try to beat the game. And then I realized when I stopped paying that much attention to my cultists, I could progress. So
true.
the cult did ascend, which honestly works for me. So I'm going to have to pick a new game, but there will be a game. I'm probably going to put up a poll on Discord tomorrow. So I would really look forward to seeing what people are interested in looking at based on that, because there's lots of great games out there. So that's Wednesday.
Excellent.
On my channel.
I was finally able to
sleep. Finally, sleep has taken me.
Poor.
I'm still carrying that medallion around because I can't bring myself to give it to any of my cultists.
You don't want them to be that person.
Everybody in Ellie's spot just the entire time.
Yikes.
It's perfect.
Absolutely horrible.
And then I was like, do I send them out on any crusades? No, they're too valuable to stay here. They're my farmers.
Farmers.
Amazing.
Absolutely horrific.
Friday.
Thursday. Sorry.
What's
That
happening?
was
Is
Wednesday.
anything happening on Thursday?
Oh yeah, okay.
Are you going to talk about your experiences?
I might actually, yeah. Stay tuned to the Discord because I might do a clinic hours on Thursday. I'm not actually sure, but
Kind of depends on where you are.
Oh yeah, c'est vrai. But we'll see.
David
But you could be
determined.
here.
It's true. Could be right here and with everybody. But yes, sorry. Yes. So Friday. Sorry.
We're probably, we're continuing Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Punch,
Yay!
Punch Lord.
Punch Lord.
And then Saturday, we are continuing Nancy Drew, Crime in Queen's Court,
Yeah.
where people are shitting all over theater best practices, and we are calling them out on
Are
it.
furious. I may also continue streaming potentially. It's also whatever the name of the day is. I can't remember, but Kathy is going to be streaming all day because it's like
Extra
Life.
Extra Life. Thank you. I was going to say
Doing
Games
Extra
Done
Life
Quick. That's wrong.
For kids, yeah.
Yes, Extra Life. And I think
Yeah,
that's really
that's
cool. If you're not already following a friend of the stream, Blood Fiend 13, you can do so because she'll be streaming all day this coming Saturday. And then I believe that brings us right back around to Sunday, next Sunday. Do check your time zones. Ours is changing very soon, possibly even next Sunday to standard.
Yeah.
I can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned for information about updates and another session of Blades in the Dark, Whispers in the Water, right here on RPG Clinic. I'm going to tune in over to Kalakaverse really quickly to say, Blades is my current favorite game to play. Always keen to see Alden Cruz romp around Doskvol. Looking forward to the next session. Nice.
Welcome.
Didn't put you off too much with the off-putting crew. This is good.
New reputation.
Off-putting.
It's
Any other like things that we need to address before I do final thoughts?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
That was good. Yeah, absolutely. Those were my final thoughts. Thank you guys for playing. It's been a lot of fun, and huge thanks to both the mods and everyone who's viewing. Everyone at home. It's really lovely that you're all here.
It is.
But I believe that's it. Whoa. Oh no,
You
that's
have a button.
wrong. But I have a button.
A whole button.
I have a whole button for it. Okay. Thank you all very much for joining us. Something that we like to do here is to remind people the best practices is also the best direction. It's up and it's that way. See you next time.
Bye.